The plenary session will resume at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Please take your seats. May I request the pages to accompany the resource persons to the executive lounge for their snacks? Tanggalin na lahat to. Hindi, tanggalin lahat to. Hindi na magre-resume eh. Ito. Tanggalin lahat to. Bilis, tanggalin niya.
Wala namang Viber. Mga parang kilala na po yung mga celebrity po. Ang malupit nun, 20 taon na nag-ano. Yeah.
Ito. 11, ilan na magsasalita? 11. 12. 12, 12. Okay.
Kasi, sir eh.
Yung mga page, ano nga policy na lahat resource person.
Ang inang yan, tapos darating pa yan doon, nagaganda pa ng kotse niya, tingnan bibenta ng drug.
Pero kailan yan ba?
Ano kayo dito?
Ano lang, portion po, portion by portion.
Okay.
All women. Mamaya na lang. Pagkatapos na lang.
Pursuant to Section 15H, Rule 4 of the Rules of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Speaker, Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, has designated the following House members to preside successively over today's session. Number 1, Representative Linabel Ruth R. Villarica of the 4th District of Bulacan. Number 2, Representative Stella Luz Kimbo of the 2nd District of Marikina City. Third, Representative Maria Rachel Arenas of the 3rd District of Pangasinan. Fourth, Representative Ana Marie Villarasa Suarez of Alona Party List. Fifth, Representative Josephine Veronique J. R. Lacson Noel of the Lone District of Malabon City. Number 6, Representative Larny Labin Roque of the 4th District of Bukidnon. 7th, Representative Marie Mitzi Kahayon Uy of the 2nd District of Caloocan City. Number 8, Representative Marlene Primicias Agabas of the 6th District of Pangasinan. Representative Gloria G. Labad-Labad of the 2nd District of Zamboanga del Norte. Number 10, Representative Geraldine B. Roman of the 1st District of Bataan.
Session is resumed. Please stand for the invocation to be delivered by Honorable Ching B. Bernos, representative of the Lone District of Abra.
Let us pray. Almighty God, in this Women's Month, we are grateful for the remarkable women who have shaped our nation's history with grace and courage, advocating for justice and equality. We thank all mothers, wives, daughters, sisters, and leaders who have dedicated themselves to the betterment of our country, standing resilient in the face of adversity. Bless us women serving in the government, grant us wisdom, compassion, and strength to champion the rights and welfare of our people, especially the marginalized and oppressed. We pray for the empowerment of all Filipino women, for equal opportunities, protection from violence, and recognition for their contributions to nation building. Guide us, lawmakers, to enact policies promoting gender equality, upholding the dignity of women, and fostering an environment of respect and fairness for all. In your boundless love and mercy, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to proceed with the additional reference of business and direct the Secretary General to read the titles of bills and resolutions, as well as communications and committee reports.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as the communications and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committees.
Additional reference of business. House Bill 9990, expanding the coverage of espionage, amending espionage law and the revised penal code by Representatives Tupas and Bustos.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 9991, increasing the bed capacity of the Southern Philippines Medical Center, Davao City, from 1,500 to 2,000 beds, upgrading its professional healthcare services and facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel, by Representative Ungab.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 9992, creating a district engineering office in the 2nd Legislative District of the province of Isabela, by Representatives Go, Ed Christopher, Albano, Nolasco, Vargas Alfonso, D. Ian Paul, Tan Joseph, T. Faustino Michael Marcos, D. Faustino Ino Quaresma, and T.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 9993, strengthening the Central Luzon State University, by Representative Violago.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 9994, strengthening the Commission on Human Rights as a national human rights institution, by Representative Adyong.
To the Committee on Human Rights.
House Bill 9995, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Lanao Radio Broadcasting and TV System Corporation in Lanao del Sur, by Representative Adjong.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 9996, prohibiting any activity related to online cockfighting or e-sabong operations and providing penalties for violation thereof, by Representative Rodriguez Rufus.
To the Committee on Games and Amusements.
House Bill 9997, integrating road safety education in the curriculum of the K-12 program by Representatives Lacson Noel and Lagman.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
Resolutions. House Resolution 1610, directing the House of Representatives to conduct an investigation into the hacking and data leakage of personal information of the databases of DepEd, DICT, and other government agencies by Representatives Manuel, Castro France, and Rosas.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1611, directing the Committee on Agriculture and Food to conduct an inquiry on the alleged improper disposition of NFA rice stocks to selected rice traders as authorized by the NFA administrator in violation of existing rules and procedures by Representatives Enverga and Estrella.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1612, directing the Committees on Transportation and Public Order and Safety to conduct an inquiry on the series of life-threatening incidents arising from the recent 2024 Boss Ironman Motorcycle Challenge Luzon leg by Representatives Bosita and Gutierrez.
To the Committee on Rules.
Messages from the Senate. Message dated February 27, 2024, informing the House of Representatives that on February 26, 2024, the Senate designated Senators Estrada, Zubiri, De La Rosa, Mark Villar, and Pimentel as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 2455 and House Bill 9713 on the Philippine Self-Reliant Defense Posture Program Act.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message dated February 27, 2024, informing the House that on February 26, 2024, the Senate designated Senators De La Rosa, Revilla, Estrada, Tolentino, Alan Peter Cayetano, and Pimentel as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 2449 and House Bill A327 on the Restructuring the Philippine National Police Act.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message dated February 28, 2024, informing the House that on February 27, 2024, the Senate designated Senators Tulfo, Villanueva, Marcos, Escudero, Pimentel, and Hontiveros as conferees to the reconstituted Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 2221 and House Bill 7325 on the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers Act.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communication. Letter dated February 20, 2024 of the BSP Acting Bank Officer 6, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, transmitting to the House of Representatives a duly certified copy of Memorandum Number M-2024-006, dated 15 February 2024.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Committee reports. Committee Report 979, submitted by the Committees on Rural Development and Appropriations on House Bill 10003. Committee Report 980, submitted by the Committees on Ways and Means and Appropriations on House Bill 10006.
To the Committee on Rules.
Additional reference of business 2. Committee Report. Committee Report 981, submitted by the Committee on Natural Resources on House Bill 10015.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Edsel Lagman of the 1st District of Albay for a short manifestation.
Representative Edsel Lagman is recognized for a short manifestation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I congratulate our lady colleagues as they take center stage in the proceedings this afternoon. This is an annual undertaking as we celebrate Women's Month and International Women's Day on March 8. This is also to underscore our commitment to gender equality and gender sensitivity, even as we recognize and honor the numerous achievements of women throughout history. I hope that this yearly undertaking will be a daily occurrence as we enact laws which enshrine the equality between men and women and protect and promote women's rights and welfare. Women's Month and International Women's Day are also celebrated as a reminder that there is much more we can do to advance women's rights and gender equality and ensure that women take their rightful place at the table. We should always remember that ultimately, gender equality is not only a women's issue. It is a fundamental human rights issue and requires the unwavering support of both men and women if we are to create a more just and progressive world for generations to come. Again, Godspeed to our lady representatives as we install women to the pedestal they richly deserve. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Edsel Lagman. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker. Mic, please. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Parliamentary Inquiry. Madam Speaker.
What is the parliamentary inquiry of the Honorable Minority Leader, Representative B.H. Herrera?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to inquire on the status of House Bill numbers 4967, filed by Representative Irene Gay Saulog, House Bill number 6393, filed by Representative Rufus Rodriguez, and 8676, filed by Representative Geraldine Roman. All are measures on the establishment of resource development and crisis assistance centers for women and children. I believe that these measures will improve the situation of women and children, especially those who have been victims of violence, Madam Speaker.
Will the Majority Leader please respond?
Madam Speaker, may I request the chairperson of the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, Representative Geraldine B. Roman, to give us an update on the status of House Bill numbers 4967, 6393, and 8676.
The Honorable Geraldine B. Roman, Chairperson of the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, is recognized to respond to the parliamentary inquiry of the Minority Leader. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, on its 10th regular meeting last November 13, 2023, approved the substitute bill and its committee report. Said substitute bill will be transmitted to the Committee on Appropriations for comments on the bill's funding provision. We will file the committee report as soon as we receive the comments from the Committee on Appropriations. Madam Chair.
Is the distinguished Minority Leader Herrera satisfied with the response of the Chairperson of the Committee on Women and Gender Equality?
Yes, Madam Speaker, this representation is very much satisfied, and I appreciate the update given to us by Representative Roman on the status of the said measures. I hope that the House gives due urgency to the passage of these bills once they are brought to the floor for discussion. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend the session for a few minutes.
The session is suspended.
Ako mag-acknowledge. After I resume, session is resumed and I resume and then majority. Siya pa na. Welcome the guests from The session is resumed. The majority leader is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the guests of Honorable Linabel Ruth R. Villarica, who are as follows. Department of Education Schools Division by Meycauayan City, headed by Schools Division Superintendent Ms. Merlina P. Cruz. DepEd Schools Division of Marilao South District, Municipality of Marilao, headed by District Supervisor Priscilla P. Iliscupides. DepEd Schools Division of Marilao North District, Municipality of Marilao, headed by District Supervisor Gilbert M. Agapito. And DepEd Schools Division of Obando, Municipality of Obando, headed by Supervisor Annabel R. Palomo.
Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the guests of Honorable Marisa Delmar Magsino of the OFW party list, who are as follows. Mr. Ryan Sefiane, Ms. Mary Grace Adriano, Mr. Raymond Adriano, Ms. Princess Adriano, Dr. Ernita Santos, Ms. Cholita Alanzalon, Ms. Esmeralda M. Dimarunsing, Ms. Nora A. Samama, Ms. Helen C. Datol.
Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, may I recognize the guests of Honorable Richelle Singson, Ako Ilocano Ako party list, as follows. Richard Peter B. Michael, Agnes Antonio, Stephanie Singson, Vanessa Singson, Kimberly Singson, Roderick Michael, Samantha Michael, Sean Monzon, and Laura Thompson.
Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, pursuant to our rules, today being a Monday, I move to open the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The privilege hour is now open. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Geraldine B. Roman of the 1st District of Bataan be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Roman is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Distinguished colleagues and all those who stand with us today in the spirit of equality and justice. Today, as we gather in the hallowed halls of Congress for an all-women's plenary session, we celebrate not just Women's Month, but a legacy of struggle, resilience, and triumph that has defined the journey towards gender equality and women's rights. We honor the indomitable spirit of those who came before us, whose courage has paved the way for the freedoms that we cherish and continue to fight for. The freedoms and protection and the many other achievements we enjoy today are the fruit of their determination and willingness to shatter archaic institutions and conventions that have subjugated women and other marginalized sectors throughout the centuries. Our journey began at a time when the very notion of women participating in the political process was unfathomable, even outlandish. The year 1893 marked a significant milestone when New Zealand became the first country in the world to grant women the right to vote, igniting a spark that would eventually set the world ablaze with calls for gender equality. In the Philippines, it was only in 1937 that women, can you believe it, finally earned the right to vote, a triumph born of unwavering determination and courage. Why, may you ask, were women not allowed to vote even in the more advanced nations of the West, including in the United States and in Europe? It was because of the absurd arguments that women were incapable of making sound decisions with our inferior brains, and that mental exertion could jeopardize reproductive health. Nowadays, these arguments would sound like a bad joke, but that was how people actually thought of women. The year 1937 also marked a pivotal moment in our history, as Filipino women fought for and won the right to vote, a fundamental recognition of our agency and capacity to shape the destiny of our nation. This victory was not just about accessing the ballot box. It was a resounding affirmation of our equal worth and dignity in society. Since then, our march towards equality has been marked by landmark legislation that sought to dismantle the barriers of discrimination and injustice which were constructed by ultra-conservatism and patriarchy. These barriers were also established by attitudes of immobilism and stubbornness and insensitivity. Throughout the 20th century, the world witnessed the rise of women's rights movements that challenged and dismantled the patriarchal norms that had long dictated the course of history. In 1995, we passed Republic Act number 7877, or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, to address sexual harassment in employment, education, and training environments. In 1997, we passed Republic Act 8353, or the anti-rape law, that redefined rape as a crime against persons, which was previously considered as a crime against chastity. In 2004, we passed Republic Act 9262, or the anti-VAUC, which seeks to protect women and their children from physical, sexual, psychological, and economic abuse and threats of battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. The passage of landmark legislation, such as the United States 19th Amendment in 1920, and the Republic Act number 9710, or the Magna Carta of Women in the Philippines in 2009, underscored a global commitment to acknowledging and rectifying the inequalities faced by women. The enactment of the Magna Carta for Women in 2009 stands as a testament to our collective resolve to protect and promote the rights of women and girls across all sectors of society. This comprehensive law addresses multiple facets of gender inequality, from education and employment to health and violence against women, laying the groundwork for a more inclusive and equitable society. The path towards gender equality, however, has never been straightforward or unchallenged. Each step forward has been met with resistance, often from entrenched interests that seek to maintain the status quo. Each step forward has been met with resistance from those who cling to outdated notions of gender roles. For example, the fight for Republic Act 10354, or the RH Bill of 2012 in the Philippines, is a poignant example of this struggle. demonstrating the lengths to which we must go to secure basic rights and the autonomy over our own bodies. I am elated and I feel like celebrating when I look at these landmark pieces of legislation, but I cannot help but wonder why the gaps between these laws are so wide. Bakit ang laki at ang layo ng pagitan ng mga batas na ito? Hindi ba nila nakita ang mga suliraning hinaharap ng mga kababaihan noong panahong yon? Bakit sila nagtagal? 1937, tapos 1995, tapos 1997, then 2004, tapos 2009, and then 2012. Ang laki ng mga puwang. It is because women have had to convince other people that we needed these laws. It is because we have had to prove ourselves 1,000 times more. It is because we had to face, fight, and demolish centuries-old patriarchal and ultra-conservative conventions that had been normalized in time. And yet, to this day, naririnig ko pa rin that denigrating and irritating phrase of the opponents of change and women's rights. I still hear that phrase that explains all of these delays. Babae lang yan. Nakakainis, di po ba? Today, we find ourselves in a similar battle as we strive to advance progressive legislation for women and the LGBTQ+ community. The resistance we face from ultra-conservative groups is a stark reminder that the fight for equality is ongoing and that the victories we achieve are not yet guaranteed. In recent years, the push for inclusivity and the LGBTQ+ community rights has mirrored the battles fought by women decades ago. The passage of the Socioequality Bill remains a contentious issue, facing similar obstacles and opposition that women's rights legislations once did. This parallel struggle underscores the ongoing resistance against progressive change, perpetuated by ultra-conservatism that seeks to maintain the status quo. I have witnessed this firsthand during our hearings in the Committee on Women and Gender Equality. In the face of such opposition, it is the optimism and the passion of the members of the committee, of the advocates, of our allies, and the members of the marginalized communities that fuel our movement. Their resilience in the face of adversity inspires us to continue the struggle, to champion the cause of equality, and to envision a world where every individual is valued and empowered, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, or identity. We draw strength from the collective spirit of those who refuse to be silenced, those who demand justice and equal rights for every individual, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. Even in the case of something as basic as having the same rights for men and women under the Family Code of the Philippines has also met stiff opposition from ultra-conservatives. The desire to make women's voices and decisions as important or equally important as their male counterparts in the context of the family is undermined by retrograde arguments that prescribe that the ultimate role of women is just to, quote, submit themselves to their husbands, close quote. Hindi po ito makatarungan. And for this reason, we from the Committee on Women and Gender Equality are determined to push for the passage of the particular bills that would better recognize the fundamental equality of men and women in politics and in the family, crucial for reflecting the broader principles of human rights and fairness. We acknowledge that both men and women have the same capacities and potential to contribute to society and should therefore have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. As we reflect on our journey, we recognize the remarkable progress we have made. Women now occupy positions of leadership and influence across all sectors of society, breaking barriers and challenging stereotypes. The voices of the LGBTQ+ community are louder and prouder, demanding recognition and respect for their rights and identities. These achievements are milestones that remind us of our capacity for change and the power of collective action. But we have to remember, these were only possible because we listened and became more sensitive to the demands of the times. These were made possible because we were willing to set aside our biases and prejudice, and we mustered all of our political will and courage to act expediently and effectively to confront the challenges that lie ahead. However, let us not be complacent. Much remains to be done. As we recognize the milestones achieved and the battles won, let us also recognize the road ahead is still long and fraught with challenges. The fight for equality is far from over. While we celebrate the progress made towards gender equality and the empowerment of the LGBTQ+ community, we must also acknowledge the disparities that exist. We must understand that promoting gender equality and protecting women's rights directly intersects with and are directly influenced by multiple factors, such as broader economic reforms and policies aimed at empowering women in the workforce by creating an attractive business climate, promoting women entrepreneurs, improving our social infrastructure, and changing cultural and societal norms. This just goes to show that women's rights, gender equality, and our economy are deeply interrelated. The harmonious integration of gender equality into economic reforms not only promotes social justice, but also enhances economic efficiency and growth by leveraging the full potential of all citizens, including and most especially women. Kaya naman sa panahon ngayon, hindi na pwede ang pwede na. Hindi na katanggap-tanggap ang nariyan na yan. If we followed the same attitude and logic, we would not have gotten to where we are now. We would not have advanced in terms of legislation. Our laws, even the fundamental law of the land, must evolve and respond to the changing times. It is our duty as legislators, therefore, and as human beings, to ensure that the rights of every individual are upheld and that the promise of equality is realized for all. The path may be long and the resistance formidable, but together we can and we will continue to make her story. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang kababaihan. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Roman be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Roman is referred to the Committee on Rules.
Madam
Majority
Speaker.
Leader.
Yeah. Madam Speaker, before we proceed to the next member who will deliver the privilege speech, may we request that we acknowledge the following guests. The guests of the gentleman from the 2nd District of Quezon City, the Honorable Ralph Tolfo. They are the following. They are the students from Polytechnic University of the Philippines taking up Bachelor of Public Administration, namely Grillen Abella, Jessica May Patropis, Brian James Nara, Ella Las Piñas, Leah Nivel Morales, Caitlin Ann Lim, Lexi Karen Licaros, Kailin May, Sanchez, Shershanen Liva, Lisel Habihan, Dexter Rinera, and James Patrick Sebastian.
To the guests of the Honorable Ralph Tulfo, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, we may also request that we acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Gentle Lady from the 3rd District of Bataan, the Honorable Maria Angela Garcia. They are the following: Vice Mayor Leila Linao Munoz, SB Katrina Taba, SB Cherry D. Ausen, SB Pam Sandoval, SB Charito Fernandez, SB Teresa Medillon, SB Susan Murillo, Cap Lina Pertodo Reyes, Cap Marivic Flores Castro, Cap Telma Baluyot Mangubat, Cap Josephine Nakpil Jones, Cap Los Biminda Flores Esquivel, Cap Elisa Damos Corpus, Cap Jel Ann Galindez Pitalan, Cap Corina Di Chavez Villapando. May we also add, Madam Chair, the following: kababaihan ng Bataan, Lingap sa Kaunlaran at Tagumpay, Kabalikat, Kalipunan ng Liping Pilipina, Kalipi, and kababaihan ng Bataan tungo sa Kaunlaran, Kabaka. Namely, Lenny Pagio Francisco, Ednalyn Pajardo Dawangon, Joseph Andres Mangubat, Dolores Perez Tamuro, Susan Florendo, Merna Israel Caspillo, Vilma Mayo, Juliet Solomon Salvador, Florencia Marcial Osmoso, Jasmine Mangalindan Parelino, Merly Lacandal Madla, Rosa Flojo, Luningning de Los Angeles, Nora Malyari, Lucila Soniega, Mabel Dalay, Divina Salva, Marisa Isidro, and Azon Mojica.
To the guests of the Honorable Maria Angela Garcia, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, may we also request that we recognize the presence at the gallery of the following guests of the Honorable Gentle Lady from the 2nd District of Leyte, the Honorable Karen Tanyala Javier. They are Vice Governor Leonardo Javier from the province of Leyte, Virgilia Tanyala, Marilyn Tanyala, Dana Tanyala, Odette Tanyala, Angeline Tanyala, Andrea Kit Tanyala, Joanne Tanyala, Elvira Cervantes, Gaudencio Pamaos, John Santos, Eduardo Lavarias, Christian Atienza, Ruth Quespar, Liwayway Pajardo, Marcelina Oria, Maricris Lazaro, Josepina Atencio, and Amor Nacional.
To the guests of the Honorable Lolita Karen T. Javier, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, may we also request that the guests of the Gentle Lady from the 2nd District of Caloocan, the Honorable Mitska Hayun Uy, be recognized. They are the Chairman of Distrito 2 ng Caloocan, headed by the following persons: Director Orlando Divina, Director Efren de la Cruz, and Director Antonio Duran. Also included are the Zone Chairman from Zone 1, PB Jerome Soriano, PB Efren de la Cruz, Zone 2, Zone 3, PB Valentin, Zone 4, Collado, Zone 5, PB Aruelo, Zone 6, PB Elsa Tunizol, PB 7, Romano Carpio, Zone 8, PB Sugar Ocampo, PB Marco Nanan, PB Weng Cabal, and PB Briggs Reyes. With the former barangay Captain Elias Delfin.
To the guests of the Honorable Mary Mitzi Kahayon Uy, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Richelle Singson of the party list Ako, Ilocano Ako, be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Richelle Singson is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, esteemed colleagues. Today, as we commemorate Women's Month in this all-women session, I feel honored to stand alongside gentlemen as well as powerful and inspiring women. Before delving into our discourse, let us pay tribute to the tireless women who, for centuries, have valiantly fought for our rights and equality. From enduring the denial of voting rights to being excluded from certain professions and leadership roles, our journey has been marked by numerous challenges and barriers. Yet, through perseverance, we have emerged as leaders, contributing to making the Philippines one of the top countries for gender equality today. To commence, let us celebrate the inherent qualities that distinguish us as women. Our empathy, emotional intelligence, multitasking prowess, and resilience transcend boundaries and are invaluable assets in leadership roles. As legislators, these traits enable us to forge deeper connections with our constituents, comprehend their needs, and make compassionate yet decisive decisions. Whether navigating caregiving responsibilities or confronting systemic barriers, we confront challenges with unwavering courage and conviction, enriching the work of this esteemed legislative chamber. As leaders in legislation, it is our duty to honor and embrace the profound power of our biological makeup as women. Our bodies are marvels of creation, finely tuned to nurture and sustain life, a testament to our remarkable strength. To give a few examples, did you know that women have a higher pain tolerance compared to men? This is rooted in the abundance of nerve receptors, a biological advantage that speaks to the inherent strength and resilience that underscore our pivotal role in shaping the fabric of our families, communities, and nation. Furthermore, women possess a larger interhemispheric connection in the brain, amplifying our ability to process information holistically. This neurological advantage fosters heightened emotional intelligence and empathy, indispensable qualities in leadership and decision-making roles. Finally, as the highlight of my speech today, let us delve into the most prominent biological characteristic: women's hormonal and menstrual cycles. Often shrouded in taboo, the menstrual cycle is, in reality, a beautiful symphony of hormones, an aspect that we should embrace with awareness and knowledge. While men experience daily hormonal fluctuations, women's hormonal cycle spans an entire month. We follow a cycle wherein during the first half of the month, or the follicular phase following menstruation, our estrogen levels rise. Conversely, in the luteal phase, progesterone rises and estrogen declines. In harnessing the presence of these hormones, we should take advantage that during the follicular phase, we usher in heightened energy, creativity, and vitality. While in the luteal phase, we draw upon our inner strength to nurture ourselves and the community around us. As an illustration, I personally leverage the stages of my menstrual cycle for my own well-being. As a former athlete who works to be continuously fit, understanding my body's biology guides me in optimizing my workouts for muscle toning and fat loss. During the follicular phase, where energy levels peak, cardio workouts are most effective. Midway through our cycle, during ovulation, a surge of testosterone boosts strength and energy, facilitating opportunity in intensified training or even weightlifting for increased muscle tone. Approaching the luteal phase, I seek more light activity such as yoga or swimming, since the presence of progesterone make ligaments softer, increasing potential injuries. As you see, as empowered women in Congress, it is incumbent upon us not only to acknowledge these unique attributes, but also to leverage them to empower ourselves and others. By integrating our understanding of the hormonal cycle into legislative endeavors, we can advocate for policies that cater to the diverse needs and experiences of women across different phases of their hormonal cycles. From healthcare access to workplace rights, our comprehension of menstrual health can inform inclusive, equitable, and impactful legislation that advances women's rights and well-being. By promoting menstrual literacy, we not only empower girls to make informed decisions about their health, but also destigmatize this beautiful biological cycle. Let us continue to advocate for workplace policies that accommodate the fluctuating energy levels and productivity associated with different phases of the menstrual cycle. This can include flexible work hours, remote work options, and as proposed in this chamber, paid menstrual leave, especially to those that may experience heightened physical and emotional burden of menstruation in the workplace. By advocating for improved availability of free or at least affordable hygiene products, including less common options such as menstrual cups or tampons, we can promote normalcy and ensure that women can manage their periods without financial strain. Furthermore, I propose legislation that exempts menstrual products from unnecessary taxation. Pads and tampons are essential necessities for women's health and well-being. Yet, they are inexplicably subject to value-added tax. In a country where poverty is pervasive, women should not have a difficult time in choosing between purchasing menstrual products and meeting other basic needs such as food. Taxing menstrual products is akin to imposing a financial burden on women for a natural biological process, a discriminatory practice that exploits our innate and constant health needs. By exempting menstrual products from taxation, we can guarantee accessibility for all women, regardless of the socioeconomic status, because affordable menstrual hygiene products are a matter of dignity, health, and equality. In conclusion, it is the intricate interplay of cycles and rhythms that endows us with unique power as women. Let us embrace and harness the strengths bestowed upon us by our biology. As we convene in this annual all-women session, we amplify the voices of all women, sisters, daughters, grandmothers, and mothers of our country. We must ensure that every woman, irrespective of her biological makeup or identity and sexual orientation, is inspired and empowered to thrive in leadership roles and beyond. Together, let us continue to shatter barriers, define norms, and redefine the essence of leadership with grace, compassion, and unwavering strength. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that a speech of Representative Singson be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Rochelle Singson is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Maria Cynthia K. Chan of the Lone District of Lapu-Lapu City be recognized to avail of the privileged hour.
Representative Chan is recognized.
Madam Speaker, esteemed colleagues, fellow workers in government, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a most pleasant afternoon to us all. Today, as we kickstart the celebration of National Women's Month, we call to mind the invaluable contribution of women. We honor our mothers, grandmothers, sisters, daughters, aunts, and just about every woman who has touched our lives. Our teachers, doctors, lawyers, police officers, scientists, leaders, and many others. We also pay tribute to the women, our angels, upon whom we depend so much to help us in our day-to-day lives, such as our ates, who take care of our children, and our manangs, who look after our elders. We applaud women from all walks of life for their immense contribution to raising a resilient and rooted Filipino family and building a strong and dynamic nation. While women are indeed strong and able, it is an unfortunate fact that many are still vulnerable as they are in precarious situations. This afternoon, I would like us to focus our attention on the plight of solo mothers. It has been said that being a mother is the most challenging job in the world. Starting from pregnancy and childbirth, the challenges that mothers face quickly snowball to include caring for and nurturing their children by providing their physical, emotional, spiritual, and safety needs. The weight of these responsibilities only doubles when they take on parenthood all by themselves. A solo parent, as defined under Section 4 of Republic Act number 11861, or the expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act, refer to any individual who provides sole parental care and support of the child or children due to birth, as a consequence of rape, death of the spouse, detention of the spouse for at least 3 months, or service or sentence for a criminal conviction, physical or mental incapacity of the spouse, legal separation, or de facto separation for at least 6 months, annulment, and abandonment. Also considered solo parents are the spouse or any family member of an overseas Filipino worker who belongs to the low or semi-skilled worker category and is away from the Philippines for an uninterrupted period of 12 months. Unmarried mother or father who keeps and rears the child or children. Any legal guardian, the adoptive or foster parent who solely provides parental care and support to a child or children, any relative who assumes parental care and support of the child or children as a result of the death, abandonment, disappearance, or absence of the parents, or solo parent for at least 6 months, and any pregnant woman who provides sole parental care and support to her unborn child. A World Health Organization funded study conducted by the Department of Health and the University of the Philippines National Institute of Health placed the number of solo parents at around 14 million, with 95% being women. Solo mothers carry multiple burdens, which ideally are shared with their partners. These include providing for their families, child rearing, and managing domestic work. All these, along with limited support, discrimination, and the stigma that comes with being a solo parent, only serve to make them more vulnerable. Recognizing the need to strengthen support to solo parents, the government, through the expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act, strives to provide them with a more comprehensive package of social protection services. These include livelihood development services, counseling, parent effectiveness, critical incidents, stress debriefing, and targeted interventions for those needing protection. The amended law also shortened the required employment period before granting parental leave from 1 year to 6 months. As for educational benefits, the law mandates that the DepEd, CHED, and TESDA shall provide scholarship programs for solo parents and an entire school scholarship for one child in institutions of primary, higher, and technical vocational skills education. RA 11861 also mandates the provision of social safety assistance, such as food, medicines, and financial aid for domicile repair to solo parents and their children in times of disasters, calamities, pandemics, and other health crises. Additional benefits are also introduced, such as a monthly cash subsidy of 1,000 pesos for solo parents earning minimum wage and below, a 10% discount and exemption from the value-added tax on baby's milk, food, micronutrient supplements, diapers, medicines, vaccines, and other medical supplements purchased for the use of the child or children until 6 years of age, at a solo parent who is earning less than 250,000 annually. Also, an automatic coverage from under the National Health Insurance Program administered by the PhilHealth, prioritization of solo parents, mainly solo mothers, in re-entering the workforce, and their children as applicable. In apprenticeships, scholarships, livelihood training, reintegration programs for OFWs, and other programs of the TESDA, Department of Trade and Industry, CHED, DepEd, DOLE, and the Department of Migrant Workers, and prioritization and allocation in government housing projects with relaxed terms of payment. Just last month, the Department of Social Welfare and Development launched the Strengthening Opportunities for Lone Parents Program, or Program SOLO, with my district, Lapu-Lapu City, as among the 3 pilot sites in the whole country. Under this program, the DSWD and the LGU will deliver much-needed services to solo parents at the grassroots level. These include client-centered family case management and service delivery, establishment of parenting and emotional support systems, and the promotion of developmental interventions for their children. All these efforts are indeed laudable. Yet, I believe that we can still do more. For instance, for a single mother who has young children, the greatest challenge for her would be to balance the demands of caring for them while at the same time earning enough to provide for their needs. Under Section 9 of RA 11861, establishing child-minding centers for government agencies with more than 300 employees and private employers with more than 200 employees is unfortunately discretionary. It is no surprise, therefore, that workplaces, both in government and the private sector, still have not put up these facilities, which could have otherwise helped not only solo mothers, but all working mothers in general. Perhaps we could also revisit and work towards increasing the 1,000 pesos cash subsidy given to solo parents earning minimum wage and below. I believe that everyone here will agree that such an amount, equivalent to 33.33 pesos per day, is insufficient to cover the basic needs of solo mothers and their children. Finally, as relayed to me by several solo mothers themselves, granting them tax relief would undoubtedly help them financially. Perhaps this can also be considered as a way of alleviating some of the burdens they carry. The enormous challenges that come with being a mother and a father at the same time undeniably put our solo mothers at a disadvantage. As legislators and policymakers, we have the privilege and the responsibility to help our solo mothers and their children in every way we can. In protecting and caring our solo mothers, we also protect and care for their children, the Filipino family, and the rest of the Filipino nation. As a daughter of a solo mother myself, I have witnessed firsthand the difficulties endured by my late mother when my father passed and my siblings and I were still very young. It was no easy feat, but being the strong woman she was, my mother persevered. Up to this day, I bring with me all the life lessons she has taught me and vow to do everything that I could to help those who are in similar situations as we were in before. I hope we can all work together to further empower our solo mothers and all women. After all, empowering women would mean empowering a significant, if not our greatest, resource for progress. Thank you very much, and I wish us all a happy and meaningful National Women's Month celebration.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Chan be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Chan is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Maria Jamina Catherine B. Agarao of the 4th District of Laguna be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Agarao is recognized. Madam Speaker, colleagues, and distinguished guests, as we welcome the observance of this year's National Women's Month, I rise on a matter of a personal and collective privilege to draw special attention to the Council's potential to lead the global effort for gender equality and inclusive society. Bago ko po simulan ang aking talumpati, kung babae po ang inyong katabi ngayong araw, maaari niyo pong batiin siya ng Happy Women's Month. Lahat ng kababaihan sa lahat ng kababaihan sa ating paligid, mapakapamilya, kaibigan, kasama sa bahay, katrabaho, kasalubong, kahit wala sa bulwagang ito, batiin po natin ang Happy Women's Month. Lalo tigit sa mga bagong nanay na tulad ko at mga nanay nating lahat, Happy Women's Month po. We are gathered here today to celebrate women, and it's an honor and privilege to address you on a matter of utmost importance, anchored on this year's Women's Month theme, Lipunang Patas sa Bagong Pilipinas, Kakayahan ng Kababaihan, Patunayan. Lipunang Patas sa Bagong Pilipinas. In every corner of the 7,107 islands of our archipelago, women stand as pillars of strength, resilience, and unwavering determination. From the bustling streets of Manila to the serene shores of Palawan, the creative cultural embroidering streets of Lumban, our presence echoes with the promise of progress and equality. Ang tema ngayong taon ay nakaangkla sa adhikain ng Bagong Pilipinas, kung saan ang kababaihan ay binibigyan ng malaya at pantay-pantay na oportunidad na hindi hinahadlangan ng bias na kasarian at diskriminatibong mga stereotipo. The Philippine Women's Month serves as a platform to spotlight women's accomplishments and address ongoing and emerging issues related to women's empowerment and gender equality. Kakayahan ng kababaihan, patutunayan. Women are crucial agents of change. Kapag tayo ay aktibong nakikilahok sa paggawa ng mga desisyon, kapag tayo ay nagbibigay ng ating mga ideya, kaalaman, at karanasan sa ekonomiya. At kapag tayo ay merong buhay na malayaw sa karahasan, tayo ay nagdadala ng progreso sa buong Pilipunan. As women, we are often seen as members of the society that need to prove our worth, talents, and skills to be given ample and equal opportunities as our gender counterparts. But the gender tides, if I may say, have changed. Kakayahan ng kababaihan, patutunayan, as part of this year's theme, aims to showcase and harness the full potential of women and girls in actively engaging in and earning the benefits of the national growth and development. As we say, together, women can and women will. Still achieving this vision requires an enabling environment, one that is free from discriminatory values, stereotypes, beliefs, treatment, and portrayal of women and girls across family, religion, education, sports, media, and other relevant institutions. This annual campaign's banner is both a positive affirmation and a call to action, and women empowerment ay isang layuning makakamit lamang kapag tiniyak ng iba't ibang grupo mula sa mga ahensya at institusyon na hanggang sa pribadong sektor at tagapagdala ng mga tungkulin sa nasyonal at lokal na antas na ang mga kababaihan ay mabibigyan ng pantay na karapatan at pagkakataon sapagkat sa pamamagitan lang ng pagtutulungan at kolaborasyon, hindi lamang ng mga kababaihan, kundi ng lahat, ang matagumpay na pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian ay magiging isang tiyak na posibilidad. The beauty lies when men become part of the advocacy and extend the vision to government agencies and institutions as well as the private sector. The idea is to incorporate gender mainstreaming in the bureaucracy and the companies, men joining the cause for equality and establish a legal framework that support the protection of marginalized groups of women, including the girl child, persons with disabilities, indigenous peoples, Muslim, and those with diverse sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. These changes, if properly acted upon, is a testament to the milestones achieved in closing gender gaps in the country and gathering more support to the advocacy. According to the Global Gender Gap Report, progress is slow, with the global gender gap closing at only 68.4%. At this rate, achieving complete parity would require 131 years. It must also be noted that no country has yet attained full gender parity. The struggle to gender equality today is not only a vision, but an investment in a more inclusive and improved future, even if the complete realization may extend beyond our children. Children are the children of our grandchildren. It is an investment because we are here today, not to reap the fruits of our labor, but one that may extend beyond our current generations. Madam Speaker, in closing, I am encouraging every member of this august body to champion the needs of our women and provide the backbone of their needed support by passing laws that will enable our women to have the confidence and means the lead and be at the forefront of efforts to improve their lives of their children, their families, and Filipino communities. Sa isang bagong Pilipinas, magtulungan tayong patibayin ang adhikain para sa isang lipunan kung saan ang bawat babae ay may layang mabuhay upang ipamalas ang kanyang buong potensyal. Magtulungan tayong ilagay sa nakaraan ang hadlang, sirain ang mga stereotipo, at magbukas ng daan para sa isang hinaharap kung saan itinatakda ng kasarian ang pagkakataon ng isa. As representatives of the Filipino people, it is our duty to ensure that every individual, regardless of gender, is afforded the right to live free from fear and violence. It is our responsibility to stand in solidarity with survivors of violence and pledge to create a safer and more society for all. Anna Eleanor Roosevelt, also known as the First Lady of the World, once said, and quote, "When we cease to make a contribution, you begin to die." Let us continue on living, ladies and gentlemen, and jointly become the champions of change for our women and the people in general in a bagong Pilipinas society. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang kababaihan.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Agarao be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Agarao is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Representative Ana Victoria Veloso Tuazon of the 3rd District of Leyte be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Veloso Tuazon is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Every woman who has had the privilege to learn from seeing the world in multiple contexts has had to pay it forward by lifting others up so women can pick up and carry on the conversation in other spaces that matter. And that is why I am here today to speak about catalyzing gender-responsive climate finance. Much has been said about the climate finance gap and how we need more funding to solve our planet's problems with global warming, how we cope with extreme weather events, and how we intend to address slow onset events like sea level rise, ocean acidification, and biodiversity loss. So we do what we can with what we've got. Climate finance refers to the financial resources and instruments needed to support urgent climate action, and it covers the broad spectrum of capital ranging from grants from multilateral funds, commercial and concessional loans from financial institutions, green bonds, and other forms of resource mobilization. Here, we work off the premise that avoidance and adaptation will give us the biggest bang for our buck. It is more cost-effective to invest in preemptive actions to lower or minimize the risk of climate hazard, to protect from the consequences of climate change. So why does climate finance have to be gender responsive? because aid has to go where it's needed, and women are disproportionately vulnerable to climate change impact. The 2023 Gender Assessment Food and Agriculture Report on Adapting Philippine Agriculture to Climate Change noted that it has been estimated that women and children are 14 times more likely to die during a disaster, whose frequency and intensity are increasing due to climate change. In addition, the 2022 World Bank Country Climate and Development Report noted that when responding to climate-induced crop failures, more women than men fall into chronic indebtedness from microfinance or informal borrowing from their social networks. And as a result, women might also be more likely to migrate to improve challenged livelihoods. This is why we need to catalyze gender-responsive finance. Roughly half of the Philippines is made up of women, and we are not just Filipinos, we are also global citizens. And in matters that concern our planet, our interests as Filipinos and as citizens of the world are mutually reinforcing, not mutually exclusive. At COP27, it was mentioned that the green transition will require us to transform almost everything we do today, from construction, housing, food, agriculture, transportation, and energy. Society will change since we cannot continue with business as usual, and so gender has to be mainstreamed from day one. The transition is not just about justice between people in the country, but also justice between states and justice between generations, ours and the future. Women clearly have to be part of that conversation addressing systemic change, immersed in the policy crafting and implementation aspects of financing climate action. We need an overarching and coherent policy framework to mobilize capital towards the change we seek. And so I propose that we first need to support this gender lens investing by collecting disaggregated data on the impact of climate change and national disasters on women and girls, and establishing and maintaining the National Adaptation Plan sectoral registries to spotlight women as agents of change and affirm women's work. On the collection of disaggregated data, to encourage gender lens investing, we need to ensure that we track, for instance, climate migration, which we often see when farming livelihood is lost, resulting in women needing to migrate for work. Women do a lot of things, but we lack the evidence that measures what they do to develop policies that squarely address the impact of climate change on women, because what is measured gets managed. In articulating the Philippines' strategy towards inclusive and gender-responsive climate action, the Climate Change Commission mentions two challenges. First, the lack of gender audit tools to monitor and evaluate gender considerations in climate action. And second, a gender disaggregated database on relevant aspects of the Philippines' climate change work. Gender disaggregation becomes easier to track, though, through financial technology platforms, connecting the last mile to the digital economy and adding to rural communities' income streams while consolidating digital assets and increasing the resilience of supply chains. Innovative financial products and the targeted support given to women through the fintech ecosystem facilitate data disaggregation and value chain linkages and support through business mentoring, digital transformation, market access, and accelerated innovation and growth for women-led MSMEs. A second point that I might like to make in this request that we support gender lens investing is through the establishment and maintenance of registries for women to access climate finance to bring about gender-just solutions. We need to spotlight and affirm women's place in the 8 key sectors that are focal points of our National Adaptation Plan and key to our educational growth and social well-being. That's agriculture, fisheries, and food security. Second, water resources. Third, health. Fourth, ecosystems and biodiversity. Fifth, cultural heritage, population displacement, and migration. Sixth, land use and human settlements. Seventh, livelihoods and industries. And eighth, energy, transport, and communications. Although women are disproportionately vulnerable to climate change impacts, we are also the solution aggregators, innovators, decision makers, and effective agents of change. In fact, the FAO study I mentioned earlier made reference to a 2015 study that noted that there are more female agricultural extension workers in 2 Eastern Visayas provinces, 65% in Leyte and 63% in Eastern Samar. However, we have yet to see a registry system that recognizes the way that women in their own capacities move the needle so government can implement a targeted capacitation response. For example, women farmers need help getting access to credit, but are not afforded gender parity in the registry system for basic sectors in agriculture. Under the present data gathering setup, a married female farmer is not registered and classified as a farmer in her own right. Her name is only mentioned as an adjunct of her farmer husband, who is the official farmer on record. This makes it difficult for women farmers to take out formal credit or insurance, which usually requires the husband to be the co-signatory, completely ignoring the plight of households headed by females, which are some of the most marginalized and underserved in rural areas. A second point that I would like to make in regards gender lens investing is that we need communication platforms that mainstream gender in green competencies in the labor market. Blended finance can be tapped to fund programs that are gender responsive, for instance, mainstreaming gender by ensuring that women have a seat at the table. However, we need communication platforms to build the ecosystem to scale. This means that our gender disaggregated data should also show up in the communication platforms for green skills and competencies to enable women and girls to effectively participate in climate action and climate finance decision-making as we strive for gender parity in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to optimize our human resources. Unless our girls and women learners receive the green competencies needed, we are likely to see the same pattern of vulnerability from one generation to the next. Skilling, as you know, is very nuanced and service levels are very competitive. So we need to give our girls the tools and skill sets they need to properly service the ecosystems of developed and developing markets. Capacity building and technology transfer of green competencies should also address gender-differentiated vulnerabilities. For instance, flexible learning arrangements given the many hats women wear, but not reinforce stereotypes of women's roles in society and the workplace. A credible scaling plan that draws from green competencies and innovates across the supply chain ensures that interventions have the social impact sought. We move at the speed of trust, so to bring about impactful collaboration and the strategic leveraging of public and private resources, we need more granular, regional, and LGU-level data in our due diligence data rooms populated from interoperable systems. This will not only expose stakeholders to best practices, updated risk assessments, and adaptation deficits, but also give us a clearer picture of how systems, timelines, applications, logistics, and practical issues can align. This is particularly important in the ecosystem building that needs to happen as we design, accelerate, and connect financial products and services to global trade. I will stop here because of time constraints, but allow me to close on a personal note. The disruption of ecosystems due to climate change exacerbates threats to human security. Any discussion on climate finance is predicated on peace and order being established in the peripheries and justice being effectively and efficiently administered. It should happen in an atmosphere where women can safely travel to and from work and not get ambushed while hitching a ride with the barangay captain, where barangay officials can roll out services and educational assistance without fear of being killed in the course of their duties, where aggrieved women can sue without fear of reprisal. It's all very well to speak of how we might grow the pie for everyone, women included, but to grow the pie, we need peace. Data gathering and public service administration needs to happen in a space where people feel safe, secure, heard, and respected. And so I call upon our law enforcement and crime investigation specialists to work with us at the grassroots level and help us safely carry out the catalytic work needed for rural communities to survive and thrive. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Veloso Tuazon be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Veloso Tuazon is referred to the Committee on Rules.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Representative Amparo Maria J. Zamora of the 2nd District of Taguig be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Zamora is recognized.
Honorable members of Congress, my esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As we celebrate Women's Month this year, it is crucial to reflect upon the strides we have made in promoting gender equality, while acknowledging the persistent challenges that women face, particularly in the labor market. While the Philippines is among one of the most gender-equal countries in the Western Pacific region, a stark disparity still exists, hindering the full potential and empowerment of women in the workforce. One of our critical concerns is the gender pay gap. Women in the Philippines earn only 78% of their male counterparts for the same work. The disparity is even more pronounced in rural areas, where women earn just 43% of men's earnings. Amidst feminization of the workforce, more women are taken in for labor flexibility arrangements, especially in the big services sector like retail trade, exposing them to employment insecurity and unfair compensation schemes. Women are often relegated to jobs that are seen as traditionally female, such as administrative and clerical work, while men dominate higher-paying jobs, becoming managers and executives. This gap not only reflects a lack of fairness, but also perpetuates a cycle of economic inequality, limiting women's financial independence and security. This disparity is evident not just within the corporate realm, but also in the political arena. Of course, with due respect to our male colleagues, in the two chambers of Congress, the Senate has a membership of 29% women, while the House of Representatives has 28%. The first party list elections in 1998, wherein sectors like women advocacy groups vied for seats in Congress, resulted in winning only one seat for a single women's party list, while the other 5 did not make the minimum votes required. Generally, women in the Philippines often find themselves disproportionately represented in low-wage and informal sectors, lacking access to opportunities for career growth and skills development. The prevalence of gender stereotypes and biases further contributes to the underrepresentation of women in leadership roles across various industries. In response to these problems that Filipinos continue to face, it is imperative that we address these disparities head-on by implementing policies that promote equal pay for equal work, breaking down gender stereotypes, and fostering an inclusive work environment. Empowering women economically is not only a matter of social justice, but also a key driver for sustainable development. As we champion the achievements and contributions of women this month, let us collectively commit to dismantling barriers and create a more equitable labor market by fostering a society where every woman can thrive professionally. We not only uplift individual lives, but also contribute to the overall progress and prosperity of our nation. Let us stand together, celebrate the achievements of women, and work tirelessly to eliminate the disparities that persist in the labor market. Only through our collective efforts can we create a future where every woman has the opportunity to fulfill her potential and contribute meaningfully to the development of our society. In every day, let us celebrate women. Happy, happy Women's Month, everyone. Thank you.
Majority Leader. Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the representative from Party List, ACT Teachers, Deputy Minority Leader Franz L. Castro for her manifestation.
Representative Castro is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Binabati ko po ang kinatawan ng ikalawang distrito ng Taguig, Representative Pam Zamora, in bringing into this August chamber the issue on disparity among men and women, what is as regards to the to leadership and with regards to the economical or salaries. So siguro po Madam Speaker, daragdagan ko na lang po yung sa bahagi po ng sweldo ng kalalakihan at ng kababaihan sa larangan ng agrikultura. So malaki po ang disparity ng sweldo ng ating mga kababaihan na nasa larangan ng agrikultura as compared po doon sa ating mga kalalakihan. Dagdag pa po yung burden ng ating mga manggagawang agrikulturang kababaihan ay yung yung burden po sa kanilang pamilya. Minsan nagagamit po sila doon sa iba pang mga household na pangangailangan ng ating minsan yung ating mga tenants. So sa bahagi din po ng teachers, so maswerte tayo in terms of leadership. Marami po sa ating mga kababaihang guro ay empowered. Sa leadership po, malaki din yung porsyento ng ating mga kababaihan sa larangan ng edukasyon. Pero nakakalungkot, Madam Speaker, alam ko po na ang usapin ng salary ay hindi lang po usapin ito ng guro, usapin din ito ng kababaihang guro. Dahil sa ngayon po, napakalayo na po ang agwat ng sweldo ng ating mga guro na nagko-compose ng majority ng ating populasyon ay mga kababaihan. Kaya po gusto natin magkaroon din sana ng Madam Speaker at sa ating tagapagsalita na mapagtuunan din yung equality ng sweldo among professionals sa larangan po halimbawa nung equity and equality sa bahagi ng salary among professionals like teachers, our uniform personnel and the like. So yun lang po Madam Speaker, at binabati ko po ang ating kinatawan mula sa ikalawang distrito ng Taguig.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Zamora be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Zamora is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to extend the privileged hour for another hour.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Privilege hour is extended for another hour.
Madam Speaker, before we proceed with the privilege hour, may we welcome to the House of Representatives the guests of Honorable Josephine Lacson Noel, representative of the Lone District of Malabon City. They are the following: Councilor Regino Federico Lacson Noel, Councilor John Edwin Fort de Magiba, Barangay Chairpersons Wenceslao de la Cruz, Martin Claro, Angelica de la Cruz, Antonio de Jesus, Robert Bautista, Kagawad Omeng Santos, SK Chairperson Skyla Felix, SK Chairperson Alicia Rose Gonzalez, SK Kagawad Rich Jamila Navarro, Christina Crisel Hahalya, and Alan Carlo Sobreviñas.
To the guests of Congresswoman Josephine Lacson Noel, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Representative Christine Alexi B. Tutor of the 3rd District of Bohol be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Alexi B. Tutor is recognized.
Esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as we take stock of our accomplishments as a sovereign nation and people to advance the status of women in the Philippines and all over the world, we also look ahead to the ever-moving horizon, where there are new frontiers to explore and opportunities to seize. Today, I focus on women in professions, working in the civil service, engaged in careers, and employed in the private and non-government sectors. There are silver linings in the latest job figures. According to the PSA latest data available, there are significantly fewer unemployed women in our country as of December last year. Nagkaroon ng 754,000 new jobs ang kababainhang Pilipino. Sabi ng PSA, tumaas ng 1.6% ang dami ng mga babaeng may trabaho dito sa ating bansa. Bumababa naman ng 1.6% mga babaeng unemployed. Sa private sector, 21.2 million women and employed nationwide sa mga wage and salary positions noong December 2023. PSA figures also show that all the regions have more employed women than men in the service industries, including the professionals. The data are saying that it is easier to create jobs for women now. I therefore call the attention of the economic managers, especially those in charge of implementing the new Trabaho para sa Bayan Act, to add emphasis on programs and projects that result in more jobs for women. We can have more women employed, especially in specific sectors, careers, offices, and professions. We have this window of opportunity that has not opened in nearly 2 decades. Ayon naman sa NEDA at sa PSA, ang agwat sa sahod sa pagitan ng mga babae at lalaki ay nasa pinakamakipot kapag ang babae ay college graduate. Crucially important in narrowing the gender gap is to sustain and improve the higher education subsidies can keep more female college students in school to improve their employability and benefit households that are low income, near poor, and lower middle income. Bukod dyan, ang sweldo ng babae at lalaki para sa magkatulad na trabaho ay dapat gawing patas, batay sa qualifications at hindi sa kasarian. In the construction sector, there are still many more men than women, especially because of the heavy labor task. The hiring gap in construction can improve for women if there are more positions women can access, especially the technical, administrative, and support slots where physical strength should be much less of a factor. In the security services sector, there are increasing numbers of women who study criminology, take the criminology licensure examinations, and work in private security service agencies. Dumarami na ang mga babaeng pulis at bombero, lady guards, close-in security, at investigador. Still, the hiring situation can be improved for women if the college admission and workplace screening standards are reviewed to remove biases against women simply because of their physical strength. For example, the physical exercises test should be fair to both men and women as well as LGBT. Napatunayan po yan ni Olympic gold medalist Sidolin Diaz na kaya ng mga babaeng mag-compete sa weightlifting. Maraming Pilipina ang wagi sa athletics. Marapat lang na maging patas rin ang college admission at workplace recruitment standards anuman ang kasarian at gender orientation. Finally, we come to the plight of Filipino overseas workers. The vast majority of Filipino OFWs are in unskilled elementary occupations, usually as household service workers. The solution is to upskill the household service workers before they are hired and deployed abroad so that they qualify for higher wages and higher positions. For example, the household service workers who deploy overseas should have proper certification training and competencies like cooking, caregiving, household budgeting, and operation of basic home appliances and some office equipment para meron na agad silang dagdag na skills at handa sila sa trabahong gagawin. Kapag idineploy sila sa kulang sa competencies, mababang sahod at pang-aabuso sa kamay ng mga dayuhang amo ang kanilang sinasapit. Dear colleagues and friends in Congress, these are some new frontiers for pushing the boundaries and removing the barriers preventing Filipinas from achieving their full potential. Our role is to open the doors and create opportunities along the path of Filipinas. May today mark the turning point in history. May future generations of Filipinos realize and recognize in the future that today is when we planted the seeds and fueled the ideas that made their gender bias-free future happen. Thank you and good day.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Christine Alexi, Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Tutor be referred to the Committee on the Rules for Appropriate Action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Tutor is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, before we continue on the privileged speech, may we welcome to the House of the Representative the guest, Honorable Gansorig Temu Ulen, Chairperson, Budget Standing Committee Head, Mongolia. Honorable Jigid Batjargal, Member, Budget Standing Committee. Honorable Bukchul Lun, Porevidor, Member, Budget Standing Committee. Honorable Tsen Sandak Ochir, Member, Budget Standing Committee. Mr. Erdenesambu Davasuren, Head Division of Budget Monitoring and Scrutiny. Ms. Altanzul Erdebnepuriv, Senior Advisor, Budget Standing Committee. And Ms. Ninjin Bolortsogu, National Project Manager, UNDP Interpreter. May we also welcome the Philippine Embassy in Beijing, Mr. Jaime Flor Cruz, Philippine Ambassador to the Republic of China, Ms. Carla Camille Palma Santos, Attaché, and Maria Isabel Santos, Police Liaison Attaché.
To the Parliamentary Delegation from Mongolia Standing Committee on Budget and the Philippine Embassy in Beijing, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, may we also request that the guests of the gentle lady from the Lone District of Malabon City, the Honorable Josephine Veronique Lacson Noel, be recognized. They are from Barangay Chair Lara de Cruz and Barangay Captain Benaventura.
To the guests of Congresswoman Josephine Lacson Noel, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Marisa Del Mar P. Magsino of the party list OFW and Assistant Minority Leader be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Magsino is recognized.
Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, our special guest, and of course, to the Ambassador of Beijing, China, magandang hapon po. I stand here today on a matter of personal and collective privilege to focus on the plight of our women overseas Filipino workers in commemoration of this year's Women's Month in the country and around the world. Bilang kinatawan ng ating OFW sa Kongreso at bilang isang babae, nais ko pong ibahagi ang mga hamong kinakaharap ng ating mga kababaihang OFWs at kanilang pagpupunyagi sa kabila ng mga ito. According to the survey of the Philippine Statistics Authority on Overseas Filipino Workers for 2022, 57.8% of OFWs are women. However, their combined remittances account for just 60% of the total inflows to the Philippines because according to the same survey, 70% of women OFWs are engaged in elementary occupations, notably in household services and basic jobs, and do not receive high salaries. And yet, these groups are often the target of abuses and maltreatment by their foreign employers and the preferred victims of unscrupulous fraudsters, illegal recruiters, and human traffickers, particularly in the Middle East and ASEAN countries. Batay po sa datos ng International Labor Organization, Asia Pacific, 75% ng mga biktima ng pang-aabuso ay mga kababaihang OFWs. Sila'y karaniwang biktima ng human trafficking, sexual exploitation, harassment at panggagahasa. Ang ating mga kababaihang household service workers ang pinakakawawa, pinakaapi sa hanay ng mga OFWs natin. Karamihan po sa kanila ay may mga inang may anak, magulang o kapatid na iniwan sa Pilipinas. At kapag may masamang nangyari sa kanila habang nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa, kasamang gumuguho ang pangarap ng kanilang mga pamilyang naiwan dito sa ating bansa. Sila rin po ay pinagtaksilan ng kanilang mga asawa na winawaldas lamang ang kanilang mga pinapadalang pera at madalas napapabayaan at napapariwara ang mga iniwang anak at humahantong sa hiwalayan, pagkawasak ng kanilang pamilya. Ito po ang pinakamatinding social cost ng pangingibang bansa ng mga Pilipinong kababaihang manggagawa. Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, our women OFWs also suffer from reproductive health-related problems while at work, which are often left unattended. The end result is the aggravation of their afflictions, which cause them to untimely return to the country in a dismal state of health. Once back home, with little or no savings at all, and finding no viable economic opportunities awaiting them, They again join the huge pool of unemployed in the country and forced to live with their families on a survival mode. Clearly, Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, we could see women are disproportionately affected by labor migration issues compared to men. Despite that, Madam Speaker, our women OFWs continue to fight for their rights to work abroad with dignity. As the OFW party list travels to the host countries, we see our women OFWs still full of grit, grace, and hope, determined to survive in their host countries to provide for their families, determined and forever determined. The little rest they have within the weeks are allotted for reconnection with families back home or buying pasalubong to fill their balikbayan boxes. They care less for their own personal enjoyment or leisure, and instead devote every single money they earn for their families, and this they do willingly with pure love. We admire the self-sacrificing nature of our women OFWs, but we in the government, Madam Speaker, must ensure that they also have the wherewithal to thrive and that they must be protected by our policies and programs at all cost. Apart from strengthening our bilateral and multilateral labor agreements with labor-receiving countries, we also need to pursue initiatives and put in place measures and programs to support the smooth reintegration of returning women OFWs to mainstream society. Nais ko rin pong panawagan sa Department of Migrant Workers, sa ating Pangulo, Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, na pag-aralan po natin ang datos ng mga syudad sa ibang bansa kung saan patuloy na napakataas ng pang-aabuso sa kababaihang OFWs. Kung hindi po maidadaan ito, Madam Speaker, sa polisiya o diplomasya, kailangan po natin pag-isipan ang paghinto ng pagpapadala ng mga OFWs sa lugar na ito at bagkos magsimula ng partnership sa ibang labor markets na tunay na magsusumikap na protektahan, respetuhin ang kababaihang OFWs na ipinadadala natin sa ibang bansa. Dito naman po, Madam Speaker, sa ating bansa, kinakailangan po nating magtayo ng mga OFW centers, OFW desks, daycare centers sa ating mga lokalidad na magsisilbing counseling at welfare assistance centers para mapangalagaan at suportahan ang kapakanan ng ating mga anak at pamilya ng ating mga OFWs na naiwan sa ating bansa. What I have raised are just a few specific issues and concerns affecting our women OFWs, but certainly the list is too long to discuss. It is also my humble way of paying tribute and respect to our women OFWs who continue to face risk in their quest of providing a comfortable and decent life for their loved ones and their families, and for their critical contribution to the national development. And it is more appropriate occasion to deliver this salutation than today as we observe this year's Women's Month. Para po sa ating mga kababaihang OFWs, ikinararangal po namin kayo, pinagmamalaki po namin kayo, kayo po ang patuloy na ang Pilipinas ay mahalaga sa buong mundo. Dahil kayo pong mga OFW, kayo po ang tunay na bida. Congresswoman Marisa Delmar Magsino ng OFW Party List na nagsasabing, we love you, maraming salamat po, and God bless us all.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Magsino be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Magsino is referred to the Committee on Rules.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Maria Fe Abunda of the Lone District of Eastern Samar be recognized to avail of the privileged hour.
Representative Abunda is hereby recognized.
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, celebrated guests of the House, and to all other public servants with us today, maupay nga kulop. I proudly speak before you all today in celebration of Women's Month. As a second termer in the House of Representatives, napakabilis ng panahon at halos 6 na taon na po tayong nanglingkod dito sa Kongreso. In total, I have been a public service for 18 years as an elective official at sa loob po ng taon na ito ay nakita ko ang kahalagahan ng pagkakaroon ng sapat na representation ng babae, hindi lamang sa ating political landscape, kundi pati sa kabuuan ng lipunan natin. Based on the 2020 census of population by the PSA, women comprise almost half of our population, making it so apparent how women's active engagement in participatory politics is a necessary ingredient for true democracy. But while there is an almost 50-50 share in the census, the facts remains. The collective weight of our voices often gets drowned out. To ensure that we address our issues and concerns and guarantee that our voices and perspectives are made an integral part of the decision-making process of the government. Marami na po tayong hakbang nga ginawa sa mga nagdaan dekada. We now have laws and international instruments that aim to protect the rights and provide for the standards for women's participation in our democratic processes. Meron po tayong Magna Carta of Women. Nariyan din po ang Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, Beijing Platform for Action, at ang United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5, which directs state to pursue gender equal participation in policy influencing. Meron din po tayong Philippine Gender Plan for Gender Responsive Development 1995 to 2025. Isang 30-year plan na binigyan ng mandato ng bawat administrasyon na magkaroon ng framework para sa mga kababaihan. Damo na nga mga pitad ang ginhimon ato nasod para masiguro nga may participation kababaihan ng partihan demokrasya. However, factors such as social, economic, and structural barriers that hinder women's full participation and presentation still exist. Sa karanasan at obserbasyon ko po, bilang local official sa mga nagdaang taon, pawang kababaihan ang ginagawang leader sa NGO, sa barangay initiatives, sa regional executive offices, sa charity system, sa research team, at mga volunteer programs. This observation made me conclude that we, women, are always ready to step up and show that we are able and willing as men. Gayon pa man, mayroon pa rin tayong nakikitang ilang area kung saan pwede pa natin pagbutihin ang ating participatory politics. Aside from our standing policy, another variable that could greatly aid us as we solve this lack of participation in the mainstreaming of women and posts of influence. In the House of Representatives, 88 were women during the previous Congress. This is 28% of the total number of representatives, well above the global average of 24.5% of women in Parliament, but still below the ideal critical mass of 30%. Nakakatuwang isipin na bagamat halos exclusive sa kalalakihan ang Kongreso na may huling dekada nitong previous Congress ay nadagdagan ng bilang ng mga kababaihan sa Kongreso. However, while we may have seen an increase in the number of women in the House of Representatives, other offices of the government have yet to do the same. For instance, in the recent elections, we only had a female candidate each of our presidential and vice presidential posts. Sa pagkasenador naman ay halos 12% lamang ang kumandidatong babae. Hindi rin po lalayo sa sitwasyon sa ating local governments. Consistent po ito han akon agian como vice mayor, ngan mayor kundi pipirala ang kababaihan, ang mga mayor at vice mayor o konsihal, ang akon iging harampang nga iging kakalantugi. Malaki po ang posibilidad na ang boses ng ating women citizenry ay hindi maririnig kung ganito mababa ang ating bilang sa maraming aspeto ng lipunan. Hindi po mapapansin ang mga comment, suggestion at solution ng ating mga kababaihan pagdating ng mga isyu na kinaharap ng ating bansa. Gayon pa man, bagamat may isyu pa tayong kailangan maayos ng ating pong bansa, ay nasa mainam na direksyon. Based on the 22 Global Gender Gap Report of the World Economic Forum, ang Pilipinas po ay pang 19 sa 156 countries. At target natin na mapalakas pa ang papel natin mga babae, hindi lamang sa politika, kundi sa buong lipunan. Madam Speaker, fellow representatives, guests, it is my humble opinion that countless women, young and old, have a thing or a thought to see about the affairs of the nation, but for countless reasons, only a fraction of them get to be heard. Ang mensahe ko na ito ay isang call to action para sa atin lahat. Ito ay panawagan na ngayon na ang panahon para palawakin natin ang opportunities, capacities, at confidence para sa atin mga nanay, ate, asawa, at sa lahat ng iba pang babae sa buhay natin. Marahil ay panahon na upang mapalakas natin ang buses ng kababaihan sa ating demokrasya. In order for us to achieve this, we need political will and commitment. We need to engage even more participatory politics. To quote Elizabeth Frederick, 6th Discrimination Commissioner of the Australian Human Rights Commission, in her speech celebrating International Women's Day in 2012, public policy has the capacity to either perpetuate or eliminate discrimination and gender equality. It is only by making gender a central consideration in the development and implementation of public policy that we can hope to advance gender equality and women's human rights. Mabuhay ang kababaihan, abanti babae.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Abunda be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Abunda is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, before we continue on the privilege hour, may we welcome to the House of the Representative the guest of Representative Franz Castro of ACT Teachers Party List. These are mga guro mula sa ACT-NCR Union: Ruby Bernardo, Erlinda Alfonso, Josephine Wenceslao, Regina Ramos, Maria Divina Esteban, Joanne Yu, Loeli Concepcion, Nenette Delgado, Mary Ann Castro, and Ana Riza Alzate.
The guests of Representative Franz L. Castro of ACT Teachers Party List, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Charisse Ann Hernandez of the Lone District of Calamba City be recognized to avail of the privileged hour.
The Honorable Representative Hernandez is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon to my dear colleagues, especially to the beautiful lady legislators. This year's theme for Women's Month, Lipunang Patas sa Bagong Pilipinas, Kakayahan ng Kababaihan, Patunayan, encapsulates precisely the essence of the legislative measures that I've been championing over the past 21 months. History teaches us that the feminist movement began with the mere right to vote and has evolved over time to give women the right to work, the right to equal pay, and the right to maternity leave. And today, we face the continuing challenge of trying to improve the situation of women to achieve equality, not only in its formal sense, but more importantly, in its substantive sense. To build on this premise, please allow me to relate this year's theme to my own experiences as a woman legislator. Sa Calamba po, buong pagpapakabababang loob ko pong gustong sabihin na isang malaking karangalan po para sa akin na ang inyong lingkod ang kauna-unahang babaeng representante ng distrito ng Calamba City sa Kongreso. At kaakibat po ng karangalang ito, ang responsibilidad na maging boses ng kababaihan sa Kongreso. I recognize this high privilege and distinct honor of becoming the first woman representative of Calamba in its entire history. However, giving women a platform to lead is just the first step. I campaigned for and entered Congress in the third trimester of my pregnancy with my firstborn son, Dylan. In fact, during the inaugural activities in our city on June 30th, I was in the hospital having just given birth. I addressed the inaugural session of our Sangguniang Palunsod from a hospital bed. And just recently, as my dear colleagues would have seen, I was blessed with a second son, Ethan, last October. Of course, there would have been those who would question my capabilities as a public servant just because I was pregnant. Society has long used a woman's ability to bear children to prevent her from maximizing her fullest potential. But in my experience, I speak to you today with beaming pride that pregnancy and motherhood are badges of honor which demonstrate why women are built differently, why we are always capable of doing more. As a newly minted mother of two, I have appreciated all the more the existence of important laws protecting women's rights more than during my term in Congress. Our legal right to maternity leave, having adequate breastfeeding facilities in public areas, just to name a few, are not just laws but actual lived experiences for me. Not all women, though, experience the same privileges. We still have a long way to go in making sure that all women, especially those in the marginalized sectors, enjoy and experience these rights of theirs. Poverty and societal biases remain to be the main reason why our legal voices or why our legal victories towards equality are not enjoyed by all. Totoo naman po na may pagkakaibang babae at lalaki at ito ay sa aspeto ng physical at biological. Sa usaping pagkakapantay-pantay, ang nais natin ay hindi maging balakid ang mga katangiang sexual na isang babae sa pag-abot niya sa kanyang mga oportunidad. Mahirap pa rin maging babae sa Pilipinas. Mahirap pa rin ang karanasan ng mga kababaihan na kakailanganing nasa posisyon ka ng pribilehiyo upang masasabi mong maramdaman mo ang pagkakapantay-pantay. Kaya naman, sinisikap natin sa Kongreso na gamitin ang batas
upang punan ang mga disparidad. Punan ang mga pagkukulang ng lipunan sa kanyang pagkilala sa mga danas at sakripisyo ng kababaihang Pilipino. We have a lot of work to do, and the challenge is on us, members of the 19th Congress, to tackle these challenges head-on and score more victories for women in various policy areas which we can improve on. I make this appeal to all of us, not just for myself, but also as a mother of 2 little boys. Unlike me, they will grow up to become men who will not fully understand what it's like to be a woman. But as a woman legislator and as their mother, I want them to grow up in a society that fully respects women and recognize their struggles. I want them to witness how the law can protect women. I want them to treat women right, not only because they were raised well by their parents, but also because their mother was able to demonstrate what an empowered woman can do and could become. My personal litmus test of knowing if we succeeded is to see how my 2 young boys will treat women as they grow up. To raise children to uphold values of gender equality and women empowerment is not on us parents alone. It takes an entire village, the whole society, to teach our children. And my dear colleagues, it is through the laws that we pass that we show to families the kind of world we want our kids to grow up in. Makakaasa po kayo ng aking sariling karanasan bilang babae, ang magiging motibasyon at inspirasyon ko upang ipanukala ang mga batas na magbibigay ng dagdag karapatan sa mga kababayan. And this is how I champion women as a woman in Congress. Maraming salamat po and happy Women's Month sa ating lahat.
Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Hernandez be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of the Honorable Representative Hernandez is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Maria Alana Samantha Santos of the 3rd District of North Cotabato be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Santos is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Across the globe, women have been catalysts of change, breaking barriers and defying stereotypes. Yet despite their remarkable contribution, they persistently encountered inequalities and discrimination. As we gather here today to celebrate International Women's Month, we embark on a transformative journey, expediting trailblazers, dismantling barriers, illuminating the path for every woman. In a world where gender inequality remains an elusive dream, it is crucial that we become trailblazers, bold pioneers who are fearlessly venturing into uncharted territories, paving the way for generations to come. But our journey doesn't commence with great gestures or monumental acts. It begins with a simple acknowledgement of the issues that are overlooked and the struggles that are frequently silenced. When women are empowered, economies thrive, communities prosper, societies flourish. However, women empowerment is not about conferring power upon women. It is about recognizing the inherent power they possess and ensuring that they have the opportunities to unleash it fully. Ensuring that women have ample opportunities entails advocacies for policies that resonate with the diverse circumstances. These policies must acknowledge and tackle the unique challenges women encounter, whether in education, employment, or social welfare. Initiatives such as flexible work arrangements, affordable childcare services, and target support for migrant communities are pivotal steps towards leveling the playing field. Furthermore, efforts aim to erase gender-based violence, promoting reproductive rights, and ensuring access to healthcare further contributes to creating an environment where women can thrive. By prioritizing initiatives that are sensitive to the multifaceted needs of women, we can foster a more inclusive, equitable society where every woman has an opportunity to fulfill her potential. Serbisyo at malasakit, a guiding principle embarked in the 3rd District of North Cotabato, stands as a cornerstone for our communities to advocate for the rights of women. Beyond the provisions of essential social services, we remain steadfast in our dedication for steadfast initiatives that promise to significantly improve the lives of every woman within our community. One such initiative involves active engagement with widowed sectors in the 3rd District of Cotabato, where we dedicatedly work hand in hand with them by providing them with sustainable livelihood programs that give women the opportunity to thrive. Through these endeavors, we aim to empower women by offering them necessary resources and support to embark on a journey towards economic independence and self-sufficiency, thus granting them much-needed jump starts toward a brighter future. Furthermore, our unwavering support extends to the invaluable daycare teachers operating within our districts, the majority of them who are women, recognizing the pivotal role that they play in shaping the minds and the futures of our younger generation or younger citizens. We are committed to ensuring that their needs are not only recognized, but also adequately addressed by providing them with the necessary resources, training, and support system. We strive to empower these dedicated educators to contribute their invaluable work within renewing vigor and enthusiasm. In addition to our grassroots efforts, we are also set to embark on a transformative journey in the implementation of the Serbisyo at Malasakit Caravan. This initiative aims to bridge the gap between the government services and remote communities, bringing much-needed assistance and support directly to their doorstep. As part of this caravan, we are particularly focused on addressing the pressing needs to improve medical services, particularly for extended mothers in underserved areas. Through this provision of prenatal checkup services, signifies care that we have for these mothers whom otherwise struggle to access adequate healthcare facilities. We endeavor to ensure that no woman gets left behind, regardless of their socioeconomic status or geographic location. As we embark on our mission to enhance the well-being of women, it is also essential to advocate for policies that promote work-life balance, support mental and paternal responsibilities, and upholding dignity. These policies should strive to create a more inclusive and supportive workplace environment where individuals can thrive professionally while managing their familiar obligations. Additionally, initiatives aimed to address such health concerns specifically to women are crucial to acknowledging and accommodating the diverse needs of female employees. By championing these policies, we foster a more adequate and empowered society for all. These are just few of the numerous initiatives that we have been championing. Yet often we hesitate due to fear of scrutiny and opposition, fear of retaliation leading to inaction is never the solution. Throughout history, women have persevered. Our struggle to the right to vote, to the right to own property, to work, and to have maternity leaves were all met despite this criticism and, of course, the judgment that some members of the community were always imposing upon us as women and the privileges we were also demanding. However, these milestones were achieved because there were women in history that dared to be trailblazers, fearless and setting the path. It is time that we shed the fear and embrace our role as trailblazers, paving the way and creating the opportunity for our fellow women. Together, let us forge a future where every woman can thrive, and let us Let our legacy be one of courage, compassion, and unwavering determination. Mula po sa 2 distrito ng probinsya ng Cotabato, isang maligayang pambate sa inyong lahat ngayong buwan ng kababaihan. Maraming salamat.
Majority Leader. Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Santos be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Maria Alana Samantha Santos is referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Arlen Brosas of the party list Gabriela be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
The Representative Arlene Brosas is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, aking mga kapwa kinatawan sa kapulungang ito, isang palaban at makabayang pagbati sa inyong lahat. Ngayong buwan ng Marso, ating ginugunita ang buwan ng kababaihan at pinagpupugayan ang malaking papel at ambag ng kababaihan sa iba't ibang larangan at pagtataguyod sa ating mga karapatan at kapakanan. Mahalagang kilalanin na ang pagdiriwang ng buwan ng mga kababaihan ay nagmula sa pagkilala sa International Working Women's Day o IWWD na ipinagdiriwang tuwing 8 ng Marso. Kaya taliwas sa nakagawiang komersyalisadong paggunita, ang Women's Month ay ibinunga ng makasaysayang pagkilos ng mga kababaihang manggagawa sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo para ipaglaban ang kanilang karapatan para sa maayos na kalagayan sa paggawa, nakabubuhay na sahod at pagtataguyod ng karapatang pantao. Daan taon na ang nakalipas mula nang mangyari ang mga pag-aalsang ito, ngunit hanggang ngayon ay patong-patong pa rin ang kaapihang nararanasan ng kababaihan sa lipunan. Malaking puwersa ang kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino na bumubuo ng humigit kumulang kalahati ng 110 milyong populasyon. Gayunpaman, kalakhan ng kababaihan ay dumaranas ng matinding krisis at nabibilang sa pinakamahirap na sektor ng lipunan. Manggagawa, magsasaka, katutubo, maralita sa kanayunan, at maging dito sa kalunsuran. Ayon sa pinakabagong ulat ng Philippine Statistics Authority, mahigit 20 million ang kababaihan ang masasabing economically insecure, unemployed, underemployed, unpaid, o kaya'y hindi nabibilang sa puwersa sa paggawa. Madam Speaker, subsob sa matinding kahirapan ang kalakhan ng kababaihan sa kasalukuyan. Umabot na sa 25.24 million ang mga mahihirap na Pilipino. Ayon sa SWS survey, 12.6% ng mga Pilipino ang nakakaranas ng matinding kagutuman. At ito ang pinakamataas sa ngayon sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni President Marcos Jr. Talagang masusubsob ang kababaihan sa kahirapan, lalo na kung napakababa ng sahod nito. Sa NCR, 610 pesos ang minimum wage at sa BARM naman ay 341 pesos. Sa taas ng presyo ng bilihin, singil sa pampublikong utilidad at tumitinding krisis sa bansa, tiyak na hindi aangat ang estado ng buhay ng kababaihan sa ating lipunan. Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, sa sobrang hirap ng buhay, lubos na nakakabahala na patuloy na dumarami ang kababaihan na pumapasok sa tinatawag na sugar dating para lang mabuhay. Tinatayang 250,000 ang tinatawag na sugar babies noong nakaraang taon. 1/3 o humigit kumulang 83,000 ay mga estudyante, habang 44% o humigit kumulang 110,000 ay walang trabaho. Napakalaki sana ng ambag ng kababaihan sa lipunan. Pero dahil sa hirap ng buhay, napipilitan silang pumasok sa ganitong klaseng sitwasyon. tila kinukulong sa 4 na sulok ng kwarto para lang mabuhay sa kabila ng krisis na pasan-pasan nito. Madam Speaker, bukod sa matinding kahirapan, nakakaranas din ang kababaihan ng matinding karahasan sa ating lipunan. Sa tala ng PNP Crime Incident Reporting and Analysis System o PNP CIRAS, mayroong 19,635 na kaso ng karahasan sa kababaihan at mga bata o violence against women and children simula Enero hanggang Agosto 2023. May 54 kababaihang biktima ng karahasan kada araw sa unang 8 buwan ng 2023. 3 taon ng panggagahasa ang nangungunang krimen sa kababaihan. Ayon pa sa Department of Interior and Local Government, rape ang numero 1 krimen sa ilang lugar sa bansa. Sa Davao Region, Ilocos Region, Negros Occidental at Cebu. Ayon din sa Department of Education, nakatanggap ito ng 213 na reklamo ng pang-aabuso, kung saan 70 ay may kaugnayan sa sexual harassment sa mga paaralan. Patuloy din ang mga kaso ng pang-aabuso na ginawa ng mga sundalo at pulis. Noong nakaraang taon, isang 10 taong gulang na babae ang naiulat na hinalay ng isang miyembro ng KAFGU sa Davao. May naiulat din na kaso ng panggagahasa ng mga sundalo ng 94th IB sa 15 anyos na batang babae at isa pa niyang kasama. Hindi pa kasama sa mga datos na ito ang mga kaso na hindi nire-report ng kababaihan dahil sa takot at trauma na kanilang nararanasan. Sa ika-10 sunod-sunod na taon, Madam Speaker, ang Pilipinas pa rin ang pinakapeligrosong bansa sa Asia para sa mga tagapagtanggol ng lupa at kalikasan. Ayon sa ulat mula sa Global Witness, may 48 na kababaihang leader magsasaka na ang napatay at 80 ang nakakulong sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa. Sa tala ng karapatan, 812 ang bilang ng bilanggong politikal sa Pilipinas at 162 dito ang kababaihan. Madam Speaker, pinagpupugayan ng gobyerno ang kababaihan tuwing buwan ng Marso. Pero hindi nito prioridad ang pagsusulong ng mga batas at polisiya upang maiangat ito mula sa kahirapan. Tila pipi, bingi at bulag ang gobyerno sa labis-labis na pang-aapi, pambubusabos at karahasan na nararanasan ng kababaihan. At sa kabila ng mga ito, humaharap pa ang mamamayan sa banta ng tuluyang pagbuyangyang sa ating ekonomiya at pagbubukas ng bansa sa mas marami pang dayuhan at base militar na tiyak na magdudulot ng mas matindi pang paghihirap at karahasan sa kababaihan. Pero ang babae, apihin man o busalan ang bibig, ay may likas na tapang na hindi magagapi ng sino man. Kaya ang buwan ng Marso ay buwan ng paglaban ng kababaihan para proteksyonan ang ating inang bayan at ang karapatan ng bawat Pilipino. Sa pagdiriwang ng International Working Women's Day at National Women's Month, kaisa ang Gabriela Women's Party sa panawagan para sa kabuhayan, karapatan at kasarinlan, mabuhay ang mga kababaihang lumalaban, mabuhay ang kababaihang Pilipino. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Brosas be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Arlene Brosas is referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that Representative Jeanette Garin of the 1st District of Iloilo be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Representative Janet Garin is now recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, ikinagagalak po nating bigyang pugay ang ating mga women achievers because celebrating the Women's Month or the month of March is not just an ordinary task. It is something that we should always be proud of and it remains as our inspiration and our guide to desire and achieve more. Many Filipino women have made strides in the international community, and it amazes me how their achievements continue to break barriers and inspire others. From the realms of science and technology to arts and sports, Filipino women have demonstrated exceptional talent and resilience. Hindi natin may pagkakaila na ang mga babae ay may tapang at giting na nagbibigay inspirasyon sa lahat na mangarap, magsikap, at makamit ang tagumpay. Ilang halimbawa rito ay ang ilang Pilipina na nabigyang pagkilala dahil sa kanilang galing sa kanilang larangan. In the field of science, notable figures like Dr. Fed Del Mundo, who has played a pioneering role in advancing pediatrics in the Philippines, culminating in the establishment of the country's inaugural pediatric hospital, the Children's Medical Center. She also took a bold step by selling her home and liquidating most of her assets to finance the construction of her hospital. At alam nga natin, kapag pumapasok pala ang pasyente, sa amoy at pananaw niya, tila alam niya na kaagad ang sakit. That's the clinical eye that a very renowned women physician has developed. In the entertainment field, actresses like Jacqueline Jose, may her soul rest in peace, who unfortunately passed away yesterday, have received international acclaim for her outstanding performances, making her the first Filipina to win the Best Actress Award at the Cannes Film Festival 2016 for her movie Ma Rosa, which was directed by Brillante Mendoza. Meanwhile, in the field of arts, we have Apo Wang-od, a Filipina tattoo artist from the Kalinga province who was recognized internationally for her traditional tattooing skills and is often considered the last mambabatok. It is also worth noting that a Filipina has excelled on the global stage in sports. Edilyn Diaz, an Olympic weightlifting champion, making history, who has also made history by winning the country's first ever gold medal at the Olympics. We also have a rising sports star, the 18-year-old Filipina tennis sensation Alex Ayala, who continues to rise in the world ranking. In the ranking released by the Women's Tennis Association, she now ranks at 180 from 185 last month. Surely, she is just but a few steps towards more success. The achievements of Filipino women on the international stage serves as a source of inspiration and pride for the entire nation. And that is why this Women's Month, they deserve to be recognized. Women deserve to be recognized as we can also excel in different fields. This celebration should serve as a reminder that the recognition of women's achievements is not a once-a-year event. It is an ongoing commitment to acknowledging the valuable contributions of women in all aspects of life. Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, in the realm of beauty contests and sports, hindi na ako lalayo pa. Iloilo proudly boasts of Alexi May Brooks, a remarkable Ilongga making waves as a candidate for Binibining Pilipinas 2004. She is a distinguished figure in Philippine track and field, showcasing her skills not only within the borders of our nation, but also on the global stage. In 2022, she earned the title of Most Valuable Player in the UAAP while proudly representing National University. The same year, she demonstrated her prowess at the Southeast Asian Games in Vietnam. Behind this athlete is a compelling personal story. Born to a Filipino mother who worked as an overseas Filipino worker in Lebanon, Alexi never had the chance to meet her father. Raised by her Lola Basing, she embraced the challenges life presented with resilience and determination. Throughout her journey, Alexi discovered that her distinctive features are a source of strength and individuality. Instead of feeling embarrassed, she learned to celebrate her uniqueness, becoming a powerful advocate for self-love. In a world that often imposes unrealistic standards, Alexi has shown that you can succeed despite all of this. And for now, we have seen how she has brought a women's fame and power to where it should be.
As per the 2021 OECD report, women constituted nearly 70% of the healthcare workforce during the pandemic. Simultaneously, women bore a significant share of responsibilities at home due to school and child care facility closures. In fact, we are the most versatile among our people. And we can multitask, especially Filipino women. We should strive for a country where every woman has the same opportunities, rights, and recognition as any man. Tayo po, ang mismong mga kababaihan ang dapat mag-angat sa ating kapwa babae. Hindi natin dapat hayaang maging hadlang ang ating kasarian para limitahan ang ating kakayahan. Huwag nating kalimutan na bawat tagumpay ng isang babae ay tagumpay nating lahat. Abanse, babayi. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the speech of Representative Garin be referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The speech of Representative Janet Garin is now referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to avail of the privilege hour, I move to close the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. This privilege hour is now closed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.
The session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to consider measure under the calendar of business.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Madam Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, I move to consider House Resolution number 1608 and direct the Secretary General to read the title of the House Resolution.
Secretary General.
House Resolution 1608, a resolution recognizing and commending the Association of Women Legislators Foundation, Incorporated, of the 19th Congress for its exemplary dedication to the advancement of women and children's rights under the leadership of Honorable Yeda Marie K. Romualdez and Honorable Linabel Ruth R. Villarica as chairperson and president respectively, and its notable contributions to social and philanthropic causes.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to adopt House Resolution number 1608.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is hereby requested to read the House Resolution number 1608. I order.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend session for a few minutes to allow all lady legislators to take photos in the plenary together with the authors of House Resolution that we have just adopted.
1 minute of suspension. Session is resumed. Majority Leader. There is a motion to adopt House Resolution number 1608. All those who are in favor say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution number 1608 is adopted. Session suspended.
Dito na tayo.
Tapos kasi kapag parang hindi ka na period lang tayo. Photo? Pag nabas niyo ha?
Isara ko lang to baka makita sa picture. Dito sana sa likod lahat ng
The session is okay na. The session is resumed. The majority leader is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9277. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the rule for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll of nominal vote for nominal voting.
House Bill number 9277, an act amending sections 22, 24, 25, 121, 127, 184, 185, and 190 of Republic Act number 8424, otherwise known as the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended. Roll call of members in consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9277. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agarao, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Bellones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondoc, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhay.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Yes, the Honorable Arlene Brosas is recognized.
Yes, Madam Speaker, my vote is no, and I would like to explain my vote later.
Noted.
Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayun Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cary, Castro Franz, Castro Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Co Angelica Natasha, Co Elizalde, Co Pilar, Co Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Co Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayanghirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Maporo, Muhammad Khalid, De Maporo City, Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Farinas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet
Sa
Marie,
women's to.
Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Go, Ed Christopher, Go, Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Gorseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Co Olga, Co Ricardo, Co Wilton, Konghun, Labad Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sunny, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Lebanan, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Bacapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquez, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Oamenal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Owano, Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Primicias Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Bryan, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Zieda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sacdalan, Sagarberia, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulog, Silverio, Singson Rochelle, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Taliado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chai, Tan Watco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Chanco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Jazel Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9277. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Farinas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panote, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayor, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tiangco Ungab, Velasco, Verzosa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
With 270 members voting in the affirmative, 3 against, and 1 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill number 9277 as having approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Arlene Brosas of Gabriela Party List to explain her vote on House Bill number 9277.
Representative Brosas is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This representation votes no on House Bill number 9277, also known as the Capital Market Efficiency Bill. This proposed measure aims to provide tax cuts or lower taxes for transactions conducted by corporations in the stock market, which constitute only a small portion of the financial players in our country. While it is true that the House of Representatives has previously passed Train Package 4, which includes a provision for a gradual reduction in stock transaction tax rates, this Capital Market Efficiency Bill seeks to expedite the process by swiftly reducing stock transaction tax for corporations from 0.6% to 0.1%. Additionally, it proposes to lower the dividends tax rate for non-resident aliens from 25% to 10%. It is crucial to note that the capital markets of our nation have unclear ties to the productive sectors of our economy, aside from the fact that our domestic enterprises represent a minuscule fraction of the market. By further reducing taxes for corporations, especially those engaged in stock market transactions, this bill disproportionately benefits a select few, while neglecting the broader needs of our society. It is disheartening to witness continuous tax reductions for corporations, while the burden of heavy taxes and levies continues to weigh heavily on the shoulders of ordinary Filipino citizens. This bill exacerbates the existing imbalance in our tax system and fails to address the pressing needs of our people, particularly in light of the economic challenges faced by many. Therefore, I am compelled to cast my vote in opposition to House Bill number 9277. It is our firm belief that any tax-related legislation would prioritize the welfare and interests of the majority, ensuring equitable distribution of resources and promoting inclusive economic growth. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9859. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the rule for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill number 9859, an act providing for free professional examinations to qualified indigents. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9859. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Charon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Amatong ang Angara Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baron na Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot, Bigtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Cahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro, France, Castro, Jean, Celeste, Chanchato, Chua, Chungalao, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco, Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Colyantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cuwa, Quaresma, Dagok, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza de Jesus de Venecia, Defensor del Mar de los Santos, Dimoporo Muhammad Kali, Dimoporo City Amina, Dionisio Domingo, Duavit Duhali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael Carlos, Di Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Fariñas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fentebella, Galeyos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Jaresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Jorebata, Javier, Ko Olga Ara, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Kung Hun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara Lazatin Lili, Garda Libanan, Limgarchong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Uwaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uwano, Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Pleito, Primisya Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramonjolo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Ieda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulug, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Huatco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tiang Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U. Divina Gris, U. Jazel Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call, in consideration of third reading of House Bill Number 9859. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Berzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Fariñas, Joribata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tiangco, Ungab, Velasco, Verzosa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
With 274 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against and 0 abstention, the Chair declares House Bill Number 9859 as having been approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration of third reading of House Bill Number 9869. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill Number 9869, an act granting Philippine citizenship to Bules Shemishu Ashurian. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill Number 9869. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Charon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agarao, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Bellones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Cawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro France, Castro Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalaw, Co Angelica Natasha, Co Elizalde, Co Pilar, Co Juanco Jaime, Eduardo Mark, Co Juanco Mark, Colada Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza de Jesus, de Venecia, Defensor del Mar, de Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo City Amina, Dionisio Domingo Duavit Duhali Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo Emano Enverga Escudero Espares, Espina Estrella Udela Farinas Fernandez Ferrer Antonio Ferrer Juliet Marie Flores Fortes Frasco Fresnedi Fuentebella Galeos Garcia Albert Garcia Dante Garcia Jose Arturo Garcia Maria Angela Garcia Pablo John Garcia Vincent Guardiola Garin Gasataya Gato Goed Christopher Go Mark Goles Gomez Gonzaga Gonzales Aurelio Gonzales Neptali Gonzales Sandro Goriseta Guico Gintu Gulias Gutierrez Haresco Hataman Hernandez Herrera Horibata Javier Co Olga Co Ricardo Co Wilton Konghun Labad Labad Lacson Noel Lagman Lagon Daphne Lagon Sunny Lara Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Lebanon, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquez, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel, Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Omenal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza. Plato, Primicia Sagabas, Pumarin, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Rillo Rivera Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo Romulo Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos Saulog, Silverio, Singson Rochelle, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez Daliado, Tamayo, Tamunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Watco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte, Luis Raymond, Villafuerte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christian Tel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U. Divina Grace, U. Giselle Victoria, Yulo, Zamora, Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration and third reading of House Bill Number 9869. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Farinas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panote, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tiangco Ungab, Velasco, Verzosa, Villaferte, Luis Raymond, Villaferte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
with 269 members voting in the affirmative, 0 against, and 3 abstention, the chair declares House Bill number 9870 as having been approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the
98
consideration and
Before we proceed, it's 9869. House Bill number 9869 as having approved on third reading. Yes, Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9870. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill 9870, an act mandating the allocation of an area for information and communication technology, infrastructure, and facilities in subdivisions and housing development projects. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9870. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Villones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Buriones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulut Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro France, Castro Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalaw, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juan Ko James, Jaime Eduardo Mark, Kuhangko Mark, Colada, Colliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cuba, Quaresma, Dacook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Maporo Mohammed Khalid, De Maporo City Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Dohali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael Mark, Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Fariñas, Fernandos, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Garjola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed, Christopher, Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzales, Aurelio, Gonzales, Neptali, Gonzales, Sandro, Gorseta, Guico, Guintu, Gulas, Gutierrez, Jaresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Ko, Olga, Ko, Ricardo, Ko, Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Daphne, Lagon, Sonny, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Ligarda, Libanan, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Waminal, Olazo, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Juano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Primicia Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Revilla, Brian, Revilla, Ramon Cholo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Luran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulog, Silverio, Singson Michel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Swanson, Sing Horacio, Swansing Michaela, Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Huatco, Tariela Teodoro, Teves, Chanco, Cheng, Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Arabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Versosa, Villa, Villafuerte, Luis Raymond, Villafuerte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christian Tel, Yap Christopher Son, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, Yu Divina Grace, Yu Jaisal Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria Zubiri. Second call in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9870. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Fariñas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salvame, Swansing, Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds, Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Chanco, Ungab, Velasco, Versosa, Villafuerte, Luis Raymond, Villafuerte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap, Christopher Son.
With 274 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in negative, and 0 on abstentions, the chair declares that House Bill number 9870 as having been approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9874. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill number 9874, an act fixing the share of the local government unit hosting gaming operations licensed or operated by the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation in the proceeds of the franchise tax, further amending Section 12 of Presidential Decree number 1869 as amended. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9874. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Charon, Asitre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Matong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atay de Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bungalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulut, Bigtang, Busos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Cawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro, France, Castro, Jean, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chunggalaw, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco, Jaime, Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz, Ambrosio, Cruz, Ricardo, Cuwa, Quaresma, Dagok, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor del Mar, De Los Santos, De Maporo, Muhammad Khalid, Di Maporo, City Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael Carlos, Di Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yodela, Farinas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzalez Aurelio, Gonzalez Neptali, Gonzalez Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Ginto, Gulias, Gutierrez, Jaresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Jorebata, Javier, Ko Olga Ara, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Kunghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacsonoel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara, Lazatin, Liligar, Daliguanan, Limcachong, Loyola, Luis Trolomayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Manikis, Manuel Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Uwaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongjuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uwano, Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Premisa, Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramonjolo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Yuloyo, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulug, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Shay, Tan Watco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutorti, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Jaisel Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9874. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, Divinesian, Farinas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tiangco, Ungab, Velasco, Verzosa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
With 272 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 2 abstentions, House Bill number 9874 has been approved on the third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9875. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill 9875, an act mandating employers to provide a personal finance education program, amending for the purpose Presidential Decree number 442 as amended, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines. Roll call of members in consideration and third reading of House Bill 9875. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acheron, Asidre, Acop, Adjong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Albario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Sistro, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Batista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bungadon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot, Pegtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Cahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Cawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro France, Castro Jane, Celeste Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco, Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Colantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cuba, Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza de Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo City Amina, Judicia Domingo, Duavit Dohali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Marco Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emanov, and Varga, Escudero, Espares, Espina Estrella, Yudela, Farinas, Fernandos, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Hewlett Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Garjola, Garin, Casataya, Gato, Go Ed Christopher, Go Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Naphtali, Gonzalo Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Ginto, Gulias, Gutierrez, Jaresco, Taman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Ko Olga, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Ko Kyun, Halabadlabad, Lacson, Noel, Lagman, Lagun, Daphne, Lagun, Sunny, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Ligarda, Libanan, Limkaychong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuela, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan, Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Aminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uano, Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel Plaza. Plato, Primicias, Agabas, Pomaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla, Brian, Revilla, Romancholo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Yoloyo, Rodriguez, Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez, Yada Marie, Romualde, Romulo, Roque, Sactanan, Sagarbaria, Sacaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salimbangan, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulog, Silvero, Singson, Richel, Singson, Ronald, Singson, Mihon, Solon, Swan, Sing, Horacio, Sing, Michaela, Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chai, Tan Huatco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Chanco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Raf Wendell, Tupas Tutor, T. Umali Unabia Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuason, Vergara, Versosa, Villaferta, Luis Raymond, Villaferta, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villagod, Yamsuan, Yap Christian Chell, Yap Christopher Son, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, Yu, Divina Grace, Yu, Jaisel Victoria, Yulo Zamora, Amparo Maria, Zamora, Maria Carmen, Zamora, Isabel Maria Zubiri. Second call in consideration and third reading of House Bill 9875. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Coa Elizalde, De Venecia, Fariñas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samier, Tan Stephen James, Chanco, Ungab, Velasco, Versosa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap, Christopher Son.
With 273 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 abstention, House Bill number 9875 has been approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill number 9876. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill number 9876, an act governing civil liability and compensation claims for nuclear damage, repealing for the purpose certain sections of Republic Act number 5207, otherwise known as the Atomic Energy Regulatory and Liability Act of 1968 as amended. Roll call of members in consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9876. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agarao, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Orbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Beronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Beliones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondoc, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro France, Castro Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Co, Angelica Natasha, Co, Elizaldi, Co, Pilar, Co, Juanco, Jaime Eduardo, Mark, Co, Juanco, Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagook, Delipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza de Jesus, de Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, de los Santos, de Maporo, Mohamed Khalid, de Maporo City, Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Dohali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Udela, Farinas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Gordiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed, Christopher, Go, Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Co, Olga, Co, Ricardo, Co, Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Daphne, Lagon, Sunny, Lara Lezatin, Lee, Legarda, Lebanon, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Bacapagal, Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquez, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel, Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Ominal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Oano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña Pimentel Plaza, Pleito, Primicias Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Trillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Elohio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo Romulo, Roque Sacdalan, Sagarberia, Sacaluran, Salceda, Sally Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame Santos, Saulog, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela Suarez, Taliado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Shai, Tan Huatco Toriela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas, Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villaferte, Luis Raymond, Villaferte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villarezes Juarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christian Tel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Jazel Victoria, Yulo, Zamora, Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Second call in consideration and third reading of House Bill number 9876. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Farinas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panote, Sacaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salvame, Swansing, Horatios, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tiangco, Unga, Velasco, Verzosa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
With 267 members voting in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and 1 abstention, House Bill number 9876 has been approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration on third reading of House Bill numbers 9771, 9904, and 9907 under the cluster of local bills pertaining to local government. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bills and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bills and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill 9771, an act declaring April 25 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Isabela, province of Basilan, in commemoration of its Charter Day anniversary to be known as Araw ng Isabela de Basilan, Araw ng Sakayan. House Bill 9904, an act merging and renaming certain barangays in the city of Bacoor, province of Cavite, further amending for the purpose Section 10B of Republic Act number 10160, otherwise known as a Charter of the City of Bacoor. House Bill 9907, an act constituting the city of San Pedro, province of Laguna, as the lone legislative district of the city of San Pedro. Roll call of members in consideration on third reading of House Bills numbers 9771, 9904, and 9907. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adjong, Advincula, Garao, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bungalon, Bordado, Bosita, Brillones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustons, Cabredo. Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro, Franz, Castro, Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalaw, Ko, Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizalde, Ko Pilar, Ko Juan, Ko Jaime, Eduardo Mark, Ko Juan, Ko Mark, Colada, Colantes, Corvera, Cruz, Ambrosio, Cruz, Ricardo, Kuwa Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza de Jesus, de Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, de los Santos, de Maporo, Mohamed Khalid, de Maporo City, Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustito, Michael, Carlos, D. Ian Pool, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Fariñas, Fernandez, Ferrer, Antonio, Ferrer, Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnendi, Fuentebella, Gallegos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Garjola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Go Ed, Christopher, Go Mark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales, Aurelio, Gonzales, Neptali, Gonzales, Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Ginto, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier Co, Olga Co, Ricardo Co, Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Daphne, Lagon, Sonny. Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Ligarda, Libanan, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lamayag, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Waminal, Olasom, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Juan Dizon, Cadiernos, Paduanon, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Primicias, Agabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla, Brian, Remilla, Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Trillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez, Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali Salimbangon, Salo Salvame, Santos Saulog, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Swan Sing, Horacio, Swan Sing, Michaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith, Micah, Tan Reynolds, Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Huatco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves Chanco, Tie, Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas Tutor, T. Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas, Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Tuazon, Vergara, Versosa, Villa, Villaferte, Luis Raymond, Villaferte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Viamsuan, Yap Christian Tel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, Yu Divina Grace, Yu Jaisal Victoria, Yulo Zamora, Amparo Maria Zamora, Maria Carmen Zamola, Isabel Maria Zubiri. Second call in consideration and third reading of House Bills numbers 9771, 9904, and 9907. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Fariñas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salvame, Swansing Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samier, Tan Stephen James, Chanco, Ungab, Velasco, Versosa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap, Christopherson.
With 274 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstention, House Bill number 9771 and 9904 are hereby approved on third and final reading. Likewise, with 273 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 abstention, House Bill number 9907 is hereby approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill numbers 9890, 9891, 9925, and 9926 under the cluster of local bills pertaining to basic education and higher and technical education. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bills and thereafter to call for the roll of nominal voting.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the bills and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting.
House Bill 9890, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Surop, Municipality of Governor Generoso, Province of Davao Oriental, to be known as the Surop National High School, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill number 9891, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Tiblawan, Municipality of Governor Generoso, Province of Davao Oriental, to be known as the Tiblawan National High School, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill number 9925, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority training and assessment center in the Municipality of Murcia, Province of Negros Occidental, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill number 9926, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority district office in the city of Davao and appropriating funds therefor. Roll call of members in consideration and third reading of House Bill numbers 9890, 9891, 9925, and 9926. Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Ang, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Atayde, Aumentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Bellones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bongalon, Bordado, Busita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Cahayon, Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Cabagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro France, Castro Jean, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Co, Angelica, Natasha, Co, Elizalde, Co, Pilar, Co, Juanco, Jaime, Eduardo Mark, Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz, Ambrosio, Cruz, Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma de Goc, Delipe, Dalog de Anghirang, Daza de Jesus de Venecia, Defensor del Mar de los Santos, Dimaporo Mohamed Kali, Dimaporo City Amina, Dionisio Domingo Duavit, Dohali Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo Emano Enverga, Escudero Espares, Espina Estrella, Udela, Farinas Fernandez Ferrer, Antonio Ferrer, Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeos, Garcia, Albert, Garcia, Dante, Garcia, Jose Arturo, Garcia, Maria Angela, Garcia, Pablo John, Garcia, Vincent, Gurdiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed, Christopher Go, Mark Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales, Aurelio, Gonzales, Neptali, Gonzales, Sandro, Garceta, Guico, Ginto, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Co, Olga, Co, Ricardo, Co, Wilton, Conghun, Labad, Labad, Lacson, Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Daphne, Lagon, Sunny, Lara, Lezatin, Lee, Legarda, Libanan, Limkay Chong, Loyola, Luisro, Lumayag, Macapagal, Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquez, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles, Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles, Margarita, Nolasco, Awaminal, Nolasco, Awaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Oano, Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panalican, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plato, Primicias, Agabas, Pumarin, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla, Brian, Revilla, Monjolo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Elohio, Rodriguez, Rufus, Roman Romero, Romualdez, Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez, Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarberia, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Salimbangon, Salo, Salva, Mesantos, Saulog, Silverio, Singson Rochelle, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Swansing Horacio, Swansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Daliado, Tamayo, Tambunting Tan, Joseph Tan, Keith, Micah Tan, Reynolds, Michael Tan, Samir Tan, Stephen James, Tantambut, Tanchay, Tanuat, Cotariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor T. Umali Unabia Ungab Uy, Valeriano Valmayor, Vargas Vargas Alfonso, Velasco Veloso Tuazon, Vergara Verzosa, Villa, Villaferte Luis Raymond, Villaferte Miguel Luis, Villanueva Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christian Tel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvic, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, UJ Sel Victoria, Yulo Zamora, Amparo Maria Zamora, Maria Carmen Zamora, Isabel Maria Zubiri. Second call in consideration on third reading of House Bill numbers 9890, 9891, 9925, and 9926. Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Barzaga, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Chua, Co Elizalde, De Venecia, Farinas, Horibata, Lara, Libanan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sally, Selva, Miswansing, Horacio, Tamayo, Tan Reynolds, Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tianco, Ungab, Velasco, Verzosa, Villaferte, Luis Raymond, Villaferte, Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Yap Christopherson.
With 274 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, House Bill number 9890, 9891, and 9926 are hereby approved. Also, with 273 members voting in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 abstention, House Bill number 9925 is hereby approved. On third reading. Majority Floor Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Secretary General be directed to immediately transmit to the Senate all bills that we have just approved on third reading.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to immediately transmit to the Senate all bills that we have just approved on third reading. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no other items in the agenda, I move to adjourn the session until tomorrow, Tuesday, March 5, 2024 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
There is a motion to adjourn the session. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The session is adjourned until tomorrow, Tuesday, March 5, 2024 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Finished. Congratulations, Happy.
Recording stopped.